Ladies love skin.
Ow.
Bring it the good skin. That's why having a proper skincare routine is very important, and you need to feel the teach. The process is so easy, just 4 steps. You got your daily face wash. That's gonna clean your face up nice and right. You got your exfoliator scrub. That's gonna open up your pores. You got your AM moisturizer with the SPM 20, which is gonna protect you from the sun. You also got your PM moisturizer, which is gonna make sure your skin is protected throughout the night. Teej has tons of reviews from dedicated customers across the world. I know I said a lot, but it's okay. Because guess what? It comes with an instruction card to explain to you in detail what to do morning and night. And because Teacher is a sponsor, they're offering my family 30% off along with a free gift. Just click that link that's in the description and feel the Teach.
Right, wrong, indifferent of how the public feel. He's staying by his wife.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
respect that.
yeah.
And I don't think nobody actually looking at it from their perspective. He deserves
That's why.
kudos
That's
for
why
that.
when somebody was talking about
Did you see
how
him
toxic,
talking behind her with the book sign?
He did.
when they were
just,
talking about
yeah.
how toxic, I'm like, y'all haven't heard Will Smith
say
anything.
He hasn't addressed.
I'm like,
anything.
even with the whole slap thing, like, because he could have easily
He
tossed her under the bus with the whole August Alsina thing and everything.
Never.
He said
nothing.
Never.
But when that whole slap thing happened, she threw Will Smith straight under the bus.
Taking whatever she's
Corey
been
ain't
dishing
saying
out.
nothing.
He ain't saying nothing. Whatever people want to think. I think the only thing that he did address was that he never cheated on Tia. But everything else, he let it be.
Oh, he did it.
He never cheated on her. That's the only thing he
That's his
addressed.
first wife?
Tia was his only wife. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they divorced now.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I mean, shit, it's a win-win. It's win-win for her, lose-lose for him. Shit, you can't talk about that type of stuff and it be widely accepted.
I ain't gonna hold you though. People are trying to make it seem like he's some victim, and I don't believe that.
Who?
Will. I don't believe Will's no victim. Will said in his own book that he wants to have multiple girlfriends.
I don't think he's a victim either. I think what is happening is that I think he has a problem with the image.
Yeah.
He's all about image.
That's what he has a problem with.
He's all about image.
I don't think all the stuff that she's doing, it's the image that he's like, you just keep doing this shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's a little more numb to it because somebody said that he seemed unbothered. He's more numb to it because the cat's out the bag. He's like, all right, well, shit, I guess this is what it is.
But ironically, though, it's like, for me, I ain't gonna hold you. This is what I said on my YouTube when I talked about it. To me, it seems like every time she does these things, because it's always out the blue. It's always like when it's quiet storm, like nobody's talking about anything. To me, it seems like everybody around her knows she takes some form of crazy medication, and they won't never say anything. Because if you notice, nobody never goes out, like not her kids or anything.
Yeah.
Nobody ever goes out and challenges anything she says.
Her, right?
Not even Tupac's exes, not Khadita, not Keisha. Nobody goes out to challenge any of her narratives. And I think that's because in the background, I believe everybody knows something fucking wrong with her.
They know that she's challenged.
That's the only thing that can make sense to me.
She's special.
She's special.
Yeah.
It's cool. She like, it's cool. That's just Jada.
When you think about it, right? Like, even when it came to Tupac and like the whole, he proposed to her. We know niggas in jail make extravagant gestures all the time. But he was with Keisha. Him and Keisha were married. You and Will went and y'all were like together. Like, Jaden was born right after Tupac died. So that timeline don't even make sense. That's why I said, to me, it sounds like in my head, she goes and she makes up all of these grand delusional things. Everybody else around her know, like, Jada ain't took her medication. We all just gonna run with it.
I wouldn't be
and
surprised.
They protect her.
I wouldn't be surprised if she was the one that wrote the Willow letter.
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't be. You know what?
I wouldn't either.
It would make, because I'm like, ain't no way in hell Willow wrote that.
My mommy needs you. Come back. What?
Or even like how she says, because I know everybody has always said rumors about Tupac being gay, this, that, and the third.
Oh, I never heard
But
that.
yeah, the rumors are like coming out now, like, oh, Tupac was gay, this, that, and the third. Yeah, even though we know he was like a ladies' man, people are saying that. And that's because of like his history and dealing with stuff.
I ain't gonna lie. I wouldn't be surprised by that either.
I wouldn't be surprised by it.
Why?
You don't remember Tupac pre-Thug Life?
He was very much so like a feminist. Like a heavy
Tupac
feminist.
pre-Thug Life was
He was very soft.
Like, look, watch his mannerisms in those interviews that in that interview when he talked about how he had to change his persona.
Yeah.
Like he was very, like, yeah.
And
I wouldn't be
so,
surprised.
It was
gonna be like,
okay, so it was two things.
I'm telling you, watch.
Hold on, y'all not gonna do
Wait.
that.
Watch the interview where he was.
Y'all not gonna do
I'm
that.
gonna be honest with y'all. Think about it, okay? So if you know anything about
So Tupac gave Will Smith definitely gave in.
For sure, I believe
Hold on,
that.
well,
wait.
no, I personally don't believe Will
Paris.
Smith. I'm gonna tell you. Because I feel like we do this whole thing where it's like this whole intelligent thug. But rationally speaking, there's not too many actual heterosexual men, especially around that time, who would have tried to sell drugs and weren't able to be successful doing it.
Like, look how like wide-eyed, bushy-tailed he looks. Like, I wouldn't be.
I don't get gay from that. I don't get gay from that.
Like his whole mannerism
But he
switched
was-
from.
But
That's not what I was saying. What I was
Man, I'm
saying was
telling
like
you, man, look.
No.
When
Now, when
I
you
first
think
seen that
about
interview,
it-
I said,
No, Sweeney.
I'm
that
like,
whole intelligent thug thing. If you think about the time, right, there were not too many men who were able to go to a performance art school because he was in a little ballet too, and it wasn't too many heterosexual men
dude was out there
who were
doing
going to
kick
ballet
flips and-
school. But when he tried
Hey, bro.
tried to actually
You
like
said
be on the
kick
block and
flips.
sell drugs and stuff like that, Tupac was not known for that. He was not known to tote guns. He was not, the only thing he was known for was fighting, just like gay men. Gay men will beat your ass. But they're not the thugs for real. They're not like, he was overly intelligent, super in tune with women. He was very much so like a feminist. He was very much so conscious. Like, I don't know. It makes sense. And then what Jada said was, they had chemistry, but it wasn't meant for them to be together. She said that they had moments where they could have had sex and tried it. And that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Either they had sex and she just won't say it, or she was just the closest person protecting his secret because he was gay. It's got to be one of those two things.
I think that's far-fetched.
I
I just think that's far-fetched.
he
He ain't have no kids either. Look at Eazy-E. Eazy-E died. All the women that was around Tupac was just like all the women that was around Eazy-E. That man had a plethora of women. It's like pictures you could pull up from any 90s hottie where Tupac was with her and could have had
Every
her.
other city
It
you
is
go.
so many women who had stories
Every other
with Tupac.
video.
But he was only
I'm saying,
27
like, what
when
that
he
mean? What
died.
that mean? How
And
that
he
make sense?
had no.
Wouldn't that make the opposite?
No, this don't make sense to me. It was a lot of sexual irresponsibility. Tupac was running the streets when he was a kid because his mama was on drugs. Afina was out there. He was out there. He was exposed to sex at a young age. I think, if I'm not mistaken, when he molested. Like, he was exposed to sex at a young age.
I don't know necessarily about that.
I don't know about that. It couldn't.
Don't put that out there.
But, like, they talked about, like, for him to have all this knowledge, like, Brenda's got a baby, et cetera, et cetera. The way that he lived and all of the things that he did and all of the women that were attached to him, something don't add up. And I feel like most people,
no babies came out of this situation.
I feel like most
You ain't
people
slip up
have
one time?
they have doctored the idea of who they believe Tupac is. Even after the whole rape thing and all this other stuff, that girl tried to tarnish. Usually when a man have a very crazy situation that's life-changing, and some woman tries to tarnish him or whatever the case may be, he able to weasel out front of it. They do life-changing shit. They go sit the fuck down somewhere. He didn't even do that.
He didn't.
He didn't.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
I'm just saying, I don't know, because you have men out here with whole wives and all that, kids and all that, and they still gay, they down low. So, I mean, I just think that it's kind of far-fetched, but I don't really get involved in the tabloids.
The
and that,
nose
so.
ring. That wasn't common in the 90s for black men.
Had Thug Life tatted. Like, who tattoos Thug Life across their stomach? was.
I mean, that's the brand, though.
Well, yeah,
That's
that
the
was-
That was his brand.
before
There
his
was nobody out there
time.
tattooing
He
no
was
damn.
before his time,
That's what I'm
y'all.
saying. Like, but
He was
that,
before his
Well, nobody.
time.
I'm just
Think,
saying,
think
like,
about all
Prove
the
my
dudes.
theory
If you
wrong.
think about it,
Tupac
think
was
about
not
all
gay.
the dudes now, even athletes who do stuff like that. And all of them come off as a little sweet.
Drake.
But
And we
Drake-
know Drake not
Well,
gay,
got a-
but
Drake
Drake
got a
doing
baby,
the
though.
most. Like,
Drake got a baby though.
I can't
it
get.
don't matter about
He
having
had a
kids.
baby with a
Listen.
porn star.
Kids is not the barometer of
Hey,
your
that should-
sexuality.
that should tell you
And we
right
gotta
there,
stop
though.
that. Kids is
Right.
not the barometer of sexuality. We know dykes walking
I
around
know.
So
pregnant.
Yeah.
right, you just
You
said
can't-
Tupac didn't have no kids.
That's,
so there
that's
we
why I
go.
brought that up, though.
So
why I
that's what
brought
we
that up.
saying.
Because you said that.
But
you
that
said-
don't mean that he possibly wasn't gay. The
Oh.
children don't allude to anything for me. But to me, it does not make sense that this was a man who was living in the 90s, who was so self-conscious, who was so aware, who loved women. He was so enamored by women. Like, and who else be
Like
enamored
Prince.
by black
Like
women?
I'm
Prince.
not describing
Who
the gay
else?
nigga, though.
Yes, I am. That was my point. Who else be enamored by women? Black women. Gay men. They love us. We do no wrong to gay men. We do no wrong to them.
I
I'm
don't see
loved
that
by-
how to be a problem because like if you got a man, I
Yeah.
think the whole narrative now
Dennis
is
Rodman
like,
not gay.
like I don't get it.
They mentioned Prince being gay.
See, I can see that.
Prince to me was androgynous.
He was.
Oh, he
Yeah.
definitely was.
I
He
can
was
see Prince
androgynous.
being gay, but Tupac, that's kind of fresh,
Man, look, if you got to look past,
Dennis Rodman.
you got to
to me
look
is kinda
past, you got to look past the
androgynous.
thug life part and just
Yeah.
realize like one how he grew up
Yeah.
because she's right. He was the one like
Look at how he grew up.
he was the one that was
neglected.
in dance courses and did ballet and was a part of all that. That was his persona before he became a thug.
Yeah.
And then
He switched.
the some of the stuff that he does, like, wasn't nobody out there rocking those rings.
Yeah.
Wouldn't no dude,
I
like,
mean,
I don't know
but-
any dude who would have got thug life tatted
When you think
across
about
his
the late 80s and
Like-
the
Being
90s,
in
the
dance
stigma-
doesn't make you gay though.
It doesn't, but the stigma was
like
attached
Chris
to
Brown been in
that.
dance classes since
But
he
that's
was
not the
a
same thing
little
because we're
person.
talking about the imagery that Tupac created in the 90s. Even if you compare him to Biggie, right? Biggie wasn't neglected like Tupac. Like his mom wasn't on drugs, but Biggie did do a lot of things that looked like, he wasn't looked after. He sold drugs. He had crack under the bed, all this other stuff. Tupac tried to sell drugs. He wasn't even able to do that. He basically got bitched off the street. Like he was just able to kick it with them. And I'm not saying selling drugs is some like thing that'll
That
lose
makes-
you to being
yeah.
straight, but it's like the hardcore badass persona. It wasn't him. The guy was a feminist. The guy loved that he was enamored by women. The guy created this imagery where he was still like soft, but he still
Mhm.
put himself in a position to have to be checked. Tupac wasn't running up on people with guns. Tupac had a slick mouth. He'll talk some shit. Who do that? Gay men.
I just wasn't
That's
ready for
just
this,
funny.
Paris.
I ain't gonna lie, that shit's funny.
that's crazy.
That shit funny.
Well,
If you
I
had
can
to-
give you somebody else who talks,
That's crazy.
who got a mouth, and they don't give me gay.
You better not say 50 Cent. That's my man.
No, I'm about to say Dame Dash.
Dame Dash kind of sweet to me too. Dame Dash look kind of
talk-
sweet to me.
He don't give
Man,
off
Dame
sweet.
Dash give off
He
sweet
give
vibes
off.
too.
He give off bully.
Anybody
No,
that
Dame
bitches
Dash-
that long
Dame
about,
Dash don't
like
give
he
off
been
sweet.
bitching about
He-
Jay Z.
I don't think he give off.
He
He
give
give off
off
crybaby.
bully.
Like
Or
bitch.
that.
Yeah.
Like he give off like he got bitch. Like Jay-Z got the one up on him, and he can't touch him no more. But he was still his peer in his eyes. Like he give off like Jay-Z bitched him, and Jay-Z just would never confirm it.
He don't give off.
And
He
was-
cries a
And
lot.
Pac
to
was
me.
way too close to Suge Knight, man. That looked like a different kind of relationship there. Kind of
Pac
like
and
Lil
Suge
Wayne,
Knight?
kind of like Lil Wayne
And
and Baby. That was because like the craziest thing is like you never heard Suge Knight go at Pac the way he went at everybody else.
It's crazy though. It's kind of like
Because that was his meal ticket.
even if he's not gay.
That was his-
and
no,
I don't,
he wasn't.
I don't want
You
to
know
say
who his meal ticket was?
Snoop
was his
Dogg.
meal
Snoop.
ticket.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg.
Snoop.
Snoop was his meal ticket. But I don't want to stain Tupac's like persona. But a lot of the things just don't make sense to me because for Jada to be the way that she is about him, right? I look at Lil' Kim and I look at Faith Evans. Biggie was a heavy part of Kim's whole entire dynamic.
Yeah.
And she don't even grieve over Biggie the way that Jada grieve over Tupac, and like this woman knew
Jada
him.
not right in the head though.
Well, it's not about
Even
Jada
Faith
being,
too. Faith don't grieve over Biggie like.
but Faith was his wife. That's not my point. My point is Khadijah was his ex-fiance. Khadijah was with him the night in the hospital. She was the person who got all the clothes. She was finna marry him. And it's like, if Khadijah don't do this and Jada does this, but Lil' Kim don't do this and Faith don't do this, these men been dead around the same amount of time. Something don't add up. Something don't make sense. And to me, it's gotta be one or two things. Either we know something, she knows something about Tupac that we don't know, or they had sex and she just ain't told us yet. But even that, she's just announced. She said that they had chemistry, but she said they had no chemistry, but they were soulmates.
You ever seen a video?
And that don't make sense to me.
You ever seen a video of Will and Jada doing that little music video they did?
Which
Not
one?
Will and Jada. Tupac and shit looks funny. Shit looks
But Jada has always, aside from them,
no, it ain't that. It's more like it's just they look like homegirls. They look like homegirls. Like,
bro, I can't.
You seen the video, right?
I know what video you talk about, but I
the
will
video
say,
she posted.
They are.
I ain't gonna say he's a heteronormative poser, but I will say Jada carries a lot of Butch Queen vibes. She carry a lot of beard vibes.
Very much so.
She carry a lot of beard vibes.
She carries
like
beard.
I mean, that's usually all her roles, and she ain't played.
No, it's not. Most of her roles she played in, she was very much so a sex symbol.
Who?
Jada. In
but
her,
she was
in majority,
a more dominant like sex symbol role, like right.
Well, no.
Like even in the Matrix.
Instead it off, they made her softer. She was the softest one.
Yeah. Set it off was
What roles did she have before
in
that?
Woo, she was the
Hawthorne.
in Woo, she was the softest one.
Even
In Girls Troop, she was the softest one. They dump her down a lot, like, but on a regular contingency basis, to me,
she
kind of
harsh.
like
She's
low
very
down
harsh.
dirty shame.
yeah, like, but in that one, she
super
was a
harsh.
little bit more aggressive, even though they made her. She
Men's
wasn't
to
the softest
Society.
one. Men's to Society.
She was a
and
soft one.
Men's
Was
Society,
it
she was tough.
Jason's lyrics? She was
Set it
soft.
off.
She was soft in Jason's lyrics though. So it's
She
like
was soft in Jason lyrics.
in a lot of the roles that she play, of course, her regularly is giving pussy out to the world. Like her
But
regularly,
that's what she doing though.
her regularly, like her every day, she don't.
Like that's what she doing though, right? Pussy out to the world, right?
I guess.
I'm not trying to call her a hoe, and then like I try to call Tupac.
No, that's not
you
what I
know,
mean
she's
by that. What I
sexual.
mean
She's not
is
trying to call her a hoe like y'all
she
call her
gives,
Tupac.
I'm just saying she's
Jada gives
sexually
a
curious,
lesbian.
right? I'm
No,
just
like
saying.
she gives lesbian vibes. She gives very much so Niecy Nash dyke type. Like
I mean,
she made me feel like she gon'
has
be with
anybody been
women.
paying attention to the kids though too?
They weird as shit. The whole family
They off.
weird.
They off.
Let her
They
hold
off
That
the
reflects
rocker.
a lot.
They
And
off
then
the
Jada
rocker.
The
got
only
a
one that
boyfriend,
made it out
Hollywood
normal was the
raised
oldest
kids.
one.
Trey, and that's because
Just
Jada
because
not
his
his
mom
damn
was-
mama.
Get beat
Yeah.
up
The
in
mom.
LA.
Trey made it out normal.
Those
You said,
kids raised themselves. You could tell they was raised
You can
by
definitely tell.
the casting directors, the makeup
Yes.
artists, the
Yes.
doggone
You know who pissed me off the most,
stylists, the PR people. all
They
them people raised them
they
kids.
separated.
Willow.
They
But
separated.
she's
Willow
on
pissed
one.
me off the most.
With that
I could have knocked the goddamn
Well, I
mohawk
ain't
off
gonna
her.
say she pissed
When
me
she
off the
sat
most,
there,
but
when she
was
sat there and
it
clowned
cut
her
hair.
dad,
What?
when she clowned him because he was trying to make her a music star,
Oh, I remember
And she
that.
cut her hair off
and she was
while
like,
they were
I don't
performing
want,
on tour.
I don't want to do this. He made me do this.
She said that?
Yeah,
Yes.
on the Red Table Talk, and then came out and tried to be a musician afterwards. I was like, oh, you a whole bitch.
Oh,
Well,
she was young.
okay, so this is what happened.
Yeah.
When she was
She
performing
kid, she
Whip
had to be
My
20
Hair,
years old.
the song took off a little bit
I
more.
whip my hair back and forth.
Whip My Hair. The song took off a little bit more than what she wanted. She was on tour. Jay-Z was there at one of the locations, at one of the venues. She was getting ready to go on stage. She didn't want to perform. She threw a whole fucking tantrum. She didn't want to perform. Even though this is something she asked for. Her daddy put money behind her. This is something she asked for.
That's all.
She went into her dressing room and cut her hair off. That's how the bald Willow was bred. And that's how she got out of the performance, because she was like, I have no hair to whip. So she did something that extreme. But to me, Willow was the door opener to show
What
that
the hell's
something wasn't
going
right,
on,
because for
that
her
part.
to do that, like, don't no 9-year-old kid
That's crazy.
feel that, way about going to cut their damn hair. And then Jaden, after he did the whole Karate Kid, he excommunicated from the family.
That just sound like no
he
ass
divorced his-
whoopings. No ass whoopings was going
They
on.
don't- they don't
They
No,
was raising
No, basically
themselves.
they let
They-
them.
We all.
Will
I mean, I was born on
You
ass
know what-
whoopings.
you know what-
Make
I
a
was
movie
raised
for
on
9
that.
months at a time. He be gone. Like they
Will
was
was
raising
gone.
themselves.
Will was gone. Will was doing.
They
He
raising
was filming,
themselves.
and he said that he had to leave a lot of times because he would get so engulfed into his roles, it would come out in the house. So anytime he was filming for a movie, they
That
would
sound like
want
Heath
him
Ledger.
gone. They would want him out the house because he would change the energy. During this time, Jada is sitting around with the kids, and she ain't, picking up as many roles anymore. But they didn't whoop them. They allowed them to express themselves. But Jaden and Willow divorced
They
from the
tripping.
family.
They
They,
Then also-
they divorced from their parents.
I think what happened with
They need
Will
to
though
be
was
behind
that,
me.
like, you know how you as a parent, you're a parent, and your kid tells you they want to do something, and especially if they show promise in what they doing, and I think this is what kind of parent Will was. He was like, okay, oh, you want to be an actor? Oh, you did pretty good. Okay, well, I'm gonna put you in this movie with me. All right, I'm gonna get you this movie.
Him
Right.
and Keith.
What
Yeah.
movie he did with?
He did Pursuit of
Pursuit
Happiness,
of
with,
Happiness.
That's what
And
it was.
then
Right.
they did the Karate Kid.
And then he got him the role in a Karate Kid.
Yeah.
And then then everybody started complaining
Then they
about
did
nepotism when he
Oblivion,
did
that other movie, whatever
After
it's called.
Earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
After Earth, yeah.
And I think that's what made Jaden like, yeah, I don't. And then the same thing with Willow. He was the reason. He was the thing that pushed Willow when
Yeah.
she said, "I want to sing," and then he found out she can sing. He's
Yeah.
like, okay, then let's get you to sing.
Right.
He dumped all the money behind her, but then, the way kids are, they like, oh well, I only wanted to do it at that moment. I didn't realize it was this much work. Now you don't want to do it no more. But now you don't want to do it after I put all this money into your ass
That's
to go
what
do it.
T.I.'s daughter did when she was doing her singing.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
So, man, I wish my kid
But I mean,
would.
I guess it's kind of a flex for your kids to be able to say, I want to be famous, but I changed my mind. It's kind of a flex, though.
You said what?
When your kids are able to say, I want to be famous, but I changed my mind. But it fucks them up because they use their resources to get them indoors, and their kids take advantage of it. It's no real hard work behind it. Like Cat Williams' son. His son don't use his dad's name at all. But he's been able to have a lot of actor gigs behind it using his own name. And a lot of people don't even know Cat Williams' son is an actor.
I didn't know. You just, yeah.
They
Oh,
did
no,
get
that is
famous
shit.
though.
Mhm.
They blew up.
That is
After Earth killed Jaden's career though, man. I felt
After
bad
I
for
haven't
him.
seen that
terrible.
movie.
That shit was terrible.
It
I'm
was
sorry.
it was a
Don't say it
decent-
was good.
No, it was a decent storyline. There was so much they could have actually done with that story. But what they did wrong was they pulled Will out of the movie.
because he got hurt or whatever.
Yeah, they pulled him out of the movie and just made him a voice in Jaden's ear. And yeah.
You ain't seen the movie?
You remember when everybody saw
I haven't
After Earth, they
seen it.
thought it was gonna be Will Smith and Jaden kind of on some Pursuit of Happiness type stuff.
No, I
But what
haven't
they did was they had Will sitting in a room
Right.
talking to Jaden
Talking
through his
to-
ear the
right.
entire time while the movie was focused
What
on
was
Jaden.
wrong with
Right.
Will?
Nothing.
Well,
It was just the
I'm
way
saying-
they. It was just the way they.
They just changed the.
I thought the plane crashed and he got hurt or something like that. He couldn't.
Yeah, in the movie he couldn't
He couldn't
couldn't move
Yeah.
or anything like that. And I think that really hurt the movie as well. And then at that period in time, a lot of people was complaining about nepotism and stuff, as far as you using your clout and everything to get your kids through the door.
Are we
Yeah.
like? What are we talking about when it comes to nepotism? Like, have we seen Trump? Have we seen Biden? Like, why do people, when it comes to black people, they can't put their kids on?
That's how
But
it be.
white people do it every
That's
day.
every day.
I think that's that's what
Every day.
every day.
Every
Right.
day.
that's
If
what it
you
was.
black,
But that's where it was.
you
Dude,
better
yeah,
not.
yeah,
You
right.
better not set your kids up for
Nah,
success.
Nah, you tripping.
That's crazy.
But
Right.
that's where it was
My
birthed
kids
from. It
gonna be
wasn't
a trust
birthed
fund
from
baby
like
for
it wasn't
sure.
birthed from Will Smith and Jaden. They just bore the brunt of it, but the conversation was already happening. I can't remember who they were complaining about at the time, but I think that might have been during the period of time where people were complaining about people paying for their kids to go to college and
The
all
whole-
that stuff.
The
So
whole
all of
USC
that,
scandal.
College.
Yeah, so
your girl
then-
from Full House.
and so then after that, when I don't even think this all happened around the same time, but I think that was the whole conversation surrounding it, is that a lot of people had a problem with celebrities and politicians and stuff buying their kids way into
It is
certain
what it
Nah,
things
'cause
that they
I
shouldn't
ain't
have
gonna
been.
hold you. I ain't gonna hold you though. Growing up, especially playing basketball in AAU, when you see what's his name, Lil Romeo and all them like playing basketball, terrible. Like, but he going to the same camps we going to the same,
Oh
being able to.
yeah.
But he really couldn't play like that. But yet he having an opportunity because his daddy got that chili.
But
He
his
wanted to
daddy
play for him.
was that one.
Yeah, but we ain't talking about it. We talking about Lil Romeo having to get out there and guard niggas like me or guard, other people that's really been hooping from the
was not
city.
fair.
Like, yeah, like he not
Like Lil Romeo's not
Like,
good.
no.
Like your son shouldn't be playing AAU the McDonald's
nah.
All-American game.
Yeah.
When,
But that's why.
But they say Mercy lit though, right? Because Mercy playing with Bronny.
I don't know about Mercy. I didn't see anything about him, but I ain't gonna
Mercy
hold
playing
you.
with Bronny.
Shout out to Shaquille O'Neal because he make his kids get out the mud, baby.
Yeah,
do you
that's
hear
what they
me?
do.
Yeah.
They not gonna use daddy coins and daddy
I
names.
don't agree that you need to make when you make it your kids.
You're not
essentially
supposed to
made it
struggle. You're not.
I don't agree with making them get it out the mud, but I also don't agree with putting them in positions that
Where
they don't qualify
deserve.
for.
Yeah.
So,
Right,
i.e., if your kid can't hoop, there's no reason why
You
your
push
kid
it,
is
it's
Should be
hooping
with the
with
top-
these
with the
kids
best
that
of
can
the
actually,
best.
and there's a
Yeah.
kid sitting on the bench right now
who can really
who can really hoop.
It's kind of giving
politics.
how Drake doing his little son Adonis because ain't nobody asked you to put him on that damn album. He can't rap.
Well, okay.
I thought he was just
He
let his
can't
kid
rap.
drop.
Can we talk about the elephant in the room? Blue Ivy can't dance.
No, she
No,
gets
she
better
got
though.
better.
She's getting better.
She got better.
I don't care how better she is. Speaking from a dancer, at 11 years old, your window is closed.
Man, nah, you got
At 11 years old, if
Nah,
you
she
cannot
is right.
perform, at 11 years old, if you cannot perform choreography, you don't have the talent.
I'm not gonna disagree with that.
Just because she's gotten better, it is what it is. I taught 7-year-olds that could outdance Blue Ivy.
I got a
Same.
question though. What's the difference between, other races owning maybe a laundromat, right, or a bakery, and they're putting their kids and say, "Hey, you're gonna come work for this bakery,"
Right.
and putting them on, and what's the
I
difference?
guess the
between-
difference
So
would be
Blue Ivy is on her albums as getting writing
She's
credits.
the youngest Grammy winner ever.
She's working, but I'm just talking about the dance
I would
sector.
say-
Now, I'm not hating.
No, I'm
It
not
is-
saying
I would say
that.
I would say the difference is if you make everybody else compete, and that's what Beyonce would do.
But it's
That
also
like
a
what she would do
competition.
when like
What
for
do you
dancers
mean?
to come up in there and dance for Beyonce, they have to compete.
I would say
And,
that. No,
and then for your daughter to come in and
Well,
be able to dance
I
center,
don't mind that.
I'ma be
and be able to
honest.
dance
I
center
don't mind
stage.
that.
I think
I don't mind
no,
that.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
tell
mind
you what
that.
the difference is.
I
The
don't mind
difference is when you got somebody who is working hard in a family business, they have to actually learn the logistics. It's not
Yeah.
about an imagery. For us, this is entertainment. And those kids, when they decide to quit, it messes up the brand because we're actually putting money in it. If you decide to take your kids and give them a laundromat and they run the back of it, if one of them quit, don't nobody feel that. When you
But
got
they
a
do, though.
person, no, you don't.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
Because the
Your
laundromat can
family-
shut
no,
down.
No. The family feel it, right? But if you have 5 kids, all of them have to go work at the laundromat. All of them have to upkeep the laundromat.
Yeah.
If one of them decide, I don't want to do this anymore, there are 4 other kids who can come back up and pick that up and make it work.
Okay.
Now, as far as this situation where you have like a Romeo Miller, where you have a Blue Ivy, where you have these kids, a Willow Smith, they going into these situations where they're in the public eye. It gives tacky because it gives privilege. The only reason why you there is because of your parent. Because Nick can't sing.
Yeah, but
If I'm being honest to you, I and tiny daughter cannot sing. The little one can.
The little
she
one
can't.
can. The little one
And
can.
it's like when you quit, you weren't supposed to be there in the first place. It's really girls who are on
How dare you
TikTok.
get up there and
It's
quit?
really girls
And
who
your
on
ass can't sing.
but it's really girls who on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube been doing covers for years. It's really boys on TikTok,
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube doing covers for years who can really sing, and they getting overlooked because your child
But that's
happened
one
to be
person.
your child.
But that's one person though. So what I believe in is if I work hard, like right now, I'm 29. If I work hard and I get to the point I'm 40, 50, and I have children. My children gonna eat. They gonna benefit off of it. Because I can't take it with me when I die. Now, here's the thing. Here's the caveat. Because this is why I'm not gonna say I fully disagree with what you're saying. If the children grow up trying to figure out what I want to do in my life, and say, "Damn, I want to be like daddy. I want to be like mommy. I want to sing. I want to do this." That may be just because of the parents are traveling, not exposing them to different things out here, right? accounting or finance or whatever, right? They're not exposed to those type of things, so they may not have the wherewithal to say, hey, I want to do this, which then, right, their parents would say, well, I know an accountant. I know the top accountant in the country. So boom, I'm gonna put you in here and do this. Their children are just growing up saying, oh, I want to be like mommy and daddy.
No.
That's
Well,
not what's
I was saying,
happening.
hold on, wait.
As
I
a
was saying,
parent,
That's not what's happening.
I would
it
say
is
the
your,
difference-
That's what I think.
as a parent, it is your responsibility to be honest with your children.
But who are we talking about though?
It
We're
is
talking about-
your responsibility. I know we're talking about celebrities.
That's what I'm saying.
We're talking
But
about
that's not what's
celebrities.
happening.
Wait,
Beyonce putting Blue Ivy on stage. I'm not mad at it, right? I'm not mad at it. It's her stage. Her name is on the marquee. It's her tour. She can do that.
And it gives
But
her
at the-
time to spend with her kids.
Right. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Blue Ivy at 11, 12 years old is
Not a dancer.
not up to par with other 11 and 12-year-old dancers.
I'm
She's
not gonna
just
disagree
not.
with
I would say,
She can,
I'm not
she
gonna
can just because you can remember choreography doesn't make you a dancer.
So my question
I would
is,
say the
so
difference
my
is-
question is real quick before you ask your question.
hold on, I was about to answer your question earlier.
Okay, I asked one question, right?
Right.
So are we saying that Blue Ivy saying that she never wanted to be a dancer?
No,
It's
she might
possible.
actually.
That's what that.
I
that's
don't know.
my-
She's on credit, so she might be this crazy writer, right? She probably be spending hours in the studio with her mom making these albums. So she may be exposed to the writing process.
That's
Who
what
knows?
I'm saying.
This girl might end up being, the next Quincy Jones. She
Right.
might be not a producer, but what is Quincy Jones? No, what does he do?
a music
Not a
producer.
producer, but
I can't think of what you.
I can't think of the word I'm talking about. But she just really like putting everything
An
together.
executive or A&R.
Yeah, A&R.
Yeah.
Like she might be that side for Beyonce. So you never know. Like the dance part, it doesn't have to
But
fit.
I'm saying,
Oh,
do she see her mom or her dad do stocks or trade stocks or anything like that?
But that's not the point, right?
That is the point,
No,
though.
no.
Oh.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Because if you look at, for instance, Candy Bears, or if you're looking at T.I. and Tiny, right? We get to see what the hell happened with their kids. So we ain't gotta make this up about Beyonce and Blue Ivy. We don't know if Blue Ivy walked in there and said, Mom, I want to go on tour with you. We don't know. But I can tell you for verbatim that Candy daughter did say, Mom, I want to make a song. And she made it happen. And then here your daughter is, she don't even want shit to do with the cameras at all. So now it's not you necessarily dumping money, but it's you using your image and your likeness to try to build something, and it comes off as grifting. It's temporarily grifting because you're using your child. You know they're gonna get money because they're your child, but there's no real passion there, and the kids don't even be fucking talented because T.I. and Tiny, their oldest two, the money, and the other one that looks just like T.I., they are actually talented.
It's far beyond that.
Wait. No, those two guys are actually talented. They are actually real
the
rappers, real
the
writers.
younger kids. Yeah.
But when you talk about Zanique and you talk about Eris, those two, the daughters, they put money behind them. They didn't give their sons the same type of backing. And it's like, at this point, you're not even being honest with yourselves. You lying to your kids. And I understand it's your money. Do what you want with your money. But the reality is, that's not for them. T.I. was a real rapper. Like, people listen to his stuff still to
He
this
tough.
day.
He tough. Yeah.
Real rap.
Mhm.
I don't know what the hell's I mean. She ain't got nothing to credit for herself.
To answer your question
Yeah,
though,
go ahead, my fault.
I will say here's the difference because what you said was important. You said, should you be able to use your money to put them in positions to be able to succeed?
Yeah,
that's why
the
you
thing
make
is,
money.
Yes,
and you're
yes, I
absolutely
agree
right.
with
There's a
that.
difference between putting them in a position, say for instance, a CEO that can teach them numbers or something like that, or teach them the business, and you go and you say, all right, I want you to go speak to this guy, you learn underneath him, and you versus putting them in a CEO chair.
Right.
That's the difference. Like
Yeah.
you didn't just go and make, when you say,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna invest in my kid,
Yeah.
for instance, the Master P thing. If he hired that coach to come train his son to play, that's different than saying I'm going to use my money and make sure my kid playing in the McDonald's All-American game, even though he's not as good as any of the other kids, and even though he is not putting the work that any of those other kids did, but because I have money and influence, I was able to put him in a position that he did not earn. Versus I'm going to grab the coach.
He made him a rapper and an entertainer.
Yeah.
Romeo was a damn good entertainer and
Right.
rapper.
Right.
He literally was right in line with all the other kid stars of his time,
Right.
right? Like, so Master P did that. He put him in the position
Right.
to win when it came to music and entertainment. And he made his staple. He stamped himself on the industry. But when it comes to basketball,
He did not earn it at all.
It was like he was
I'm
trying
gonna
shit.
say this though. I'm
I
gonna say
agree.
this though.
It was like he was trying shit. He don't do
He-
nothing now.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. You're right in that regard. But I say the market and the people who are consuming that are gonna, like the coach. He has a job. He gets paid million. He gets paid million. He didn't. Nobody comes in to see that. It's always a business around why. Like even when you know the movie stars, whoever you mentioned, Beyonce, when they're spending money on their children, that's a business play too. Though,
oh yeah,
because
of
you
course.
We know
Because
it.
like,
They
so-
wanted to see Blue dance.
Right.
Right.
It's a business play, and you're paying your children. So at the end of the day, there's a play to all that.
That's why I
But-
said I understand it. I
Yeah,
get it.
because like, if
That's
I'm
a
a
I
whole
just
coach,
different
case.
Yeah.
if I'm a world-renowned coach, right, money gonna always make sense. So if I'm a world-renowned coach and you come to me and say, "Hey, look, I'm gonna give you $500,000 to come train my kid to play basketball," I'm gonna come train your kid, tell you your kid sucks at basketball, and collect my $500,000. That's totally different from you come to me and say, "Hey, look, I know you coach that AAU team. I'm gonna give you $500,000, put my son in the starting lineup."
Yeah, but that's AAU though.
But what I'm saying is
We
like,
talking about like Romeo never started an SC game. We never seen Romeo go to the league. We never seen any of that. All I'm saying is that like Blue Ivy, we never seen her at one of the top classes teaching a class.
No.
Or we never seen that. What I'm saying is the children, like, you have to
I
understand.
don't really take Blue Ivy being on stage with her mom serious though.
But-
Like, 'cause
but
even
you-
though, even when I said that, hey, look, she didn't get trained. That's just her dancing on stage with her mom.
I
Like,
think-
you know what I mean? I don't necessarily take
And it
that
was
as
that one or
And that's
two
what I'm saying, I'm
little
not mad with it.
routines.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
mad.
But
it's not- it's not
do,
her-
I do think
I still-
honestly, like if we're being fair, it is a slight to actual performers because they're not wrong with saying
It can't be.
no. Listen to what I'm saying. It's a slight to actual performers because most people know how competitive
Of
it
course.
is to keep up in that realm. Like if you've danced before, if you've been in some
It's
form of
cutthroat.
creative, it's very much so. This round, did you make it? If you didn't make it this round, it's done. It ain't nothing
Goodbye.
to talk about.
Have a good day.
Bye.
I don't see it
But
like
that's,
that.
but I don't see it.
like
The
that
only reason
because
why I don't
you
see
want-
it.
you
The
wanna
only
know
reason why I
what?
don't see it like that though is because it would be different if, like, because again, it just looked like Blue Ivy's just up there dancing with her mom. It's totally different if you bring Blue Ivy in and says, "All right, you're gonna hit the choreography in a room, and now everybody got to listen to you, Blue Ivy." Then I can see the dancers being like, "You motherfucker, you gonna make her like this bitch don't know three. She don't know how to do a basic 2-step, and you gonna have her come up here and try to run." That's different
I'll
versus
take-
just having her up there dance
That's
with her
why I
mom.
said I'm not
I take it
mad
this
at it.
way. I take it this way because I'm telling you from real world experience, right? The experience. Let's take it away from celebrities, right? Let's take the real world experience.
Mhm.
Real world experience is there. Small businesses make up a large amount, right, of the capital that's going through, flowing through America, right? We can all agree with that. Small businesses, right? That's only like small business up to like $5 million. $5 million on an annual basis is you're considered a small business, right?
Right.
Small businesses, families, right? I come from one of those. My mom, she had her own business. My dad, he continues to have his own business. When it was time for us to go to work, right, we would go work for the business. But the people who had to actually get hired, right, the people who will put in their resume, have to go in and go through the interview process, it's still competitive, right? Because they need to get a job. They want a job, but I'm already there, right? So they're not looking at it like, oh, that's the son. He just gonna do this, that, and the third. Especially if I'm just smoking on the job, bullshitting, like, oh, they like, no, the business has to run. It's bigger than me. So if I'm not doing my job, just like if Blue Ivy not really doing her job, she up there tripping, stumbling, falling. Like the children still have to say, you know, I want to do this, and two, like they have to perform. So me personally, I'm not going to just say it's a given. Like, yeah, their parents did their job to set their children up. That's what we're supposed to do as Black, white, any individual that decides to have children. You should want a better life than your child.
Correct.
So me personally, I don't think it's a disregard or a lack to anybody else. No, like that's society. We are in America.
Yeah, it is. And I'm going to tell you how, because we know there are plenty Fortune 500 companies where the children have never went and got no degree. They've never
True.
stepped inside of any educational institution,
True.
and they don't have any wherewithal of what to do or how it functions. They show up, they get paid,
Right.
and their name is the name on the
But they're
building,
not
and they
making
go
the business
home.
decisions though.
It don't matter.
It does matter.
No,
though.
that's not my point. It don't matter, because when you actually have people and you're putting this emphasis on the other people who are coming in that genuinely want to work for your company, genuinely want to help create the culture.
Nobody wants to do that.
You don't know that. Build the environment and create the dynamic to help your business be profitable.
Right.
But you tell me your lazy son of a gun son who just carries your name can be here and they can go slack off and they can point fingers and tell everybody else what to do is more important because they're your child and don't know anything.
That is an outlier.
People have, that's not an outlier.
It
That
is.
has happened commonly where
Yeah.
people who even when we're talking about
Donald Trump is a prime example of that.
Donald Trump Jr. And even,
Okay.
or even, I know you want better.
Who?
Joe Biden, Hunter Biden.
Oh, well.
He worked for his dad. Hunter
Right.
Biden is a functional, I ain't even gonna say functional.
No.
He's a hardcore addict, bro.
Crackhead.
He does nothing. And the
Yeah, that's
government
normal
is
people
writing,
shit.
it's not normal. And that is the problem. You're coming from a privileged ideal because
No,
you're
it's
already
not.
saying that you were able to go and work for your family business.
Right.
That's not the regular average day Black American. Most Black Americans didn't have
We understand
their
that.
own business.
But the
So,
people you name aren't
listen.
black though. You just name Hunter Biden, you name white, and you name
But
white families.
I
though.
named them people because you said that's an anomaly, and it's not an anomaly. We're telling you we see it all the time. I'm
Right.
telling you, I currently work in an industry
Right.
where there are people who are like, "Oh, this is my wife's brother-in-law." That's common. They don't do anything. You're telling me on my paperwork, I have to have all these credentials.
Mhm.
And when I go in here, I got to look the part, act the part, dress the part, and it's got to match that paperwork. But because that is your wife's brother-in-law, he
Right.
came in, got the job because of you. That does make a huge difference, and it happens often. And nepotism can be beneficial, but it's a slap in the face when a person has actually done the work.
I'm not disagreeing with that,
But
but
it's going to exist regardless.
I'm not disagreeing with that. But here in America, that's pretty much like that's
One of the fabric.
Well, it
That's-
used to
that's
be it
normal
used to
shit,
be a
though.
time though where, for instance, I guarantee in your family, how often did you work in your family business as a kid for free?
we ain't never worked for free. We had there's nothing for free. When
No,
when you
no.
work
What I
for-
mean is that
No,
when
you
you
gotta-
walked up in there, you had to sweep the
Yeah.
shop up, and nobody paid you. They just said go sweep the shop up,
Yeah,
or they told you to come carry
you
these
get
boxes.
paid. Like that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes we may get paid. Like we make like on a busy season, but at the end of the day, it's the family shop. This is how we bring in money. This is part of the family.
But that's what I
The
mean by
income
that is
family.
that
Yeah,
what
like-
I mean by that though is that there used to be a time where that's how family businesses grew, and that's why nobody had a problem seeing Lil Timmy
Yeah.
grow up
That's
to become
normal, though.
the owner of the shop and grow up to become the manager is because the entire time while I was busting tables, I've been watching Lil Timmy back there
Study every
sweeping and
position.
being on his dad his
Washing
entire
dishes,
life.
Yeah.
So when he finally grew up to be able to take over,
It made sense.
it made sense for him to become my boss. Versus now, the kid, you don't see that person 3 ways from Sunday through the entire team. You've been at the business. You ain't never seen this kid in this room.
And they come in and you train them to be
And you train them to take your
the
position.
manager.
Yes.
And that happens all the time nowadays. People will train other people
Yes.
And
who
that's how
take over their
and a lot of
position.
and
That's
that's
how
how a lot of
entrepreneur-
businesses fail too.
But that's I'm
It
not
is
gonna,
a lot of- it
exactly.
is
I mean,
how a lot of
that's
businesses
because
fail.
that's how a lot of businesses fail because if you see your child, right? If I had a son, daughter, if I had a child, and I grow a multi-million, billion-dollar business, and I'm like, okay, cool, you're gonna be next up if they want to. If that's not what they see, I'm not gonna put them in a position. But what I will do is put them on payroll. Why? Because I cannot take that business with me. We all know businesses do have life cycles, but at the end of the day, businesses are infinite. They really aren't going to fail unless you don't put people, to your point, in position to keep the business life cycle to continue. I'm not going to disagree with that. But guess what? Every business, Wells Fargo, Chase Bank, those are families.
Yeah.
That's a family business in a trust fund. That's why the trust fund, baby, is a thing. So I'm not going to build this business up for my family to take us from nothing to something, especially being out here in America, and not put my children on.
I don't care.
I would put my children on.
I don't care if you put your kid on payroll. If you pay your kid just for the sake of paying your kid, that's different from
the point.
That's different from paying your kid to
No,
run.
we're talking about work ethic, and
Right. That's different from paying your kid
I'm not
to
disagreeing
run
with
the
that.
business,
I'm not
and now
dis-
your kid is here making decisions for the business that they're not qualified for. But I'm qualified to make the
That's
decision.
where I got the problem.
I'm not disagreeing with the qualifications. What I'm trying to get y'all to understand is that if I have a child and I built the business up that is mine, I own 50 to 45% of equity if I don't have other investors involved, or I'm not a public stock exchange. What I'm telling you is, regardless, if I'm 80 years old, I do not want to run this business. I'm not going to give it to somebody that I really don't know who will be qualified.
Right.
I ran this business and I created this because I started this in the back of my garage. So I'm gonna make sure that my family and my children are set up, even if they're not qualified. At the end of the day, it is what it is.
That's your first priority.
That's my first priority is my family. So regardless, everybody got to work for it. Cool. I had to work for it to build this motherfucker. I had to work for it to become Beyonce. So you think I'm gonna just give it to you because you work hard? Yeah, I respect your work ethic. That's why you get an opportunity to be
There's
able
the
to
paper,
present yourself.
and I ain't mad at that.
I don't think
telling you.
anybody's disagreeing with passing down ownership.
Yeah, I'm
obviously,
not mad at that.
obviously, your ownership is going to pass down to the
your
kids.
child.
You know what I mean? The problem is that, and this is why I said that's how a lot of businesses wind up failing, is because they will put their kids in positions that their kids are not qualified for to be in, to make leadership decisions for the business.
Well, that's parenting. That's a
and
different
then
conversation.
what happens is that the
Yeah.
person who
I think
is
y'all-
qualified,
I think y'all agree.
the person who is
Casey
qualified
said you need to
says,
be honest with your kids.
Yeah.
That's exactly why
I
she said.
think
not
y'all
disagreeing
agree,
with
but you're
y'all.
just making two different points.
It's two different points.
Yeah.
I agree with what y'all
Yeah,
saying.
I think
like,
y'all both
people
agree.
yeah,
who work
obviously you're
hard-
gonna always give your kid is gonna be the owner of said business coming.
And if I was Beyonce, I'm like,
you gonna put your daughter on? She was
Blue Ivy
gonna
gonna be as a writer on every song, on every album, get credits on everything.
I don't care if she put
Everything that's
2-3
rolling
words
out.
on there.
Everything that's rolling out.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
no, I think,
as far
I would
as
say
dancing,
the only problem I have with that though is
yeah,
I think
it's cute, but
I think it's negligible at best, because like
For
to
what?
give your kid writer's credit over music, even like say for instance, like just to put them on there, right?
it's a way for them to generate income in the future, though.
but the income already come. Like think of it this way, man. If my kid is on a song with me, right? I don't actually need my kid to do any writing on that song. I could have did the writing myself, and I still get the same check.
Because regardless, the money is still going to be generated.
The money's
same way.
coming right back to the same spot
Yeah,
anyway.
at
So
that
me
point,
putting
but
my
I-
kid,
but what if he
died?
me putting
Yeah,
my
that's what I'm saying.
What if
if
he
you're,
died?
If you're not
It's
here anymore,
longevity.
the money's not gonna come to you.
even if I die,
royalties and
my
everything
royalties
go, to the
go
child.
straight to my kid.
Yeah, it goes to the
If it's
child.
written
Them
that
having
way.
their
Yeah.
their
If it's
name.
written that way, but
Yeah.
that's not ownership.
But why not get
royalties,
two checks?
royalties
Why not get two
is-
checks?
Because it's
Exactly.
really
No,
not. It's really not.
they gain ownership of your name once you pass.
So
royalties are different than ownership. If royalties
Yeah,
are
all
different.
of that stuff is
That's
separated in
cash
music,
flow.
y'all.
Royalties
All of it
cash
is
flow. I'm not gonna
separated.
disagree.
Yeah, it's
But
separated.
when you talk about, that's why when Michael Jackson, you hear all that when it's talking about the buying the catalog and all that, the catalog is a big thing because that's ownership of the catalog. That's different.
Yeah.
So when you
And
put
his
their
family
name
does
on it,
not
so
own
them
that.
having
that's
you-
exactly.
But
that's
the
a big.
but the
his
thing
family
is
don't
though,
own none of that.
the
That's
thing
a
is
big
though,
thing.
but
The
the-
record
no,
company does.
his family
They
his
collect
family did own it.
royalties,
They sold
collect
it.
the check.
Oh, they sold it. Okay.
They sold it. But no, what like?
But
say
look at
for-
Justin
like,
Bieber.
think
He
of it
just
this
sold
way.
his
Think of it this
catalog.
way.
Justin Bieber just sold his
Yeah.
catalog. He don't
If-
have any kids, right?
No,
So where's that money going?
to the he got
It's
the
gone.
check. Yeah,
Yeah, he got his check and it goes
It's
to
bought out.
whoever the
So
family,
there's
whoever
no
the family
more
that owns the.
constant cash flow that will come to his
But
future
after a
children.
certain period of time, if those streams and dividends, like it's not like a song that's like Rihanna, We Found Love in a Hopeless Place, or like what Lil Jon Shots. Those songs are international songs. They play all over the world. They play house music and things like that. They're playing in multiple sections.
Right.
Or even like in small department stores. after a while, Justin Bieber's like "Baby, Baby, Baby." That's probably his only main international
Nah,
song.
Justin Bieber got a big,
Huge
I did
catalog.
not say that he didn't have a big catalog. I'm talking about on a grander scale,
Uh-huh.
For him to
right?
receive
Where people
royalties
would know
throughout
him
into
from.
perpetuity.
That would probably be one of the primary, not the only, but probably one of the top 5 primary he would generate majority of his income from. But if you're talking about the fact that that was even on a label,
Uh-huh.
he probably never generated much from it anyway.
But y'all, songs come back around though. Like
Yeah.
songs,
If people sample
songs
them-
from the 80s, right, are used in
if people
commercials.
sample
30
them.
years that you thought you were never gonna hear that song
But
again.
yeah, but somebody has
and
to be
then
willing
boom.
to take it and sample
But
it.
the thing
You
about
never
it
know,
is,
though.
though, what
You
we're
never
saying,
know.
what
That's true.
the issue is, the artist coming up, their first few hits, they never owned them. They weren't independent.
Right.
It wasn't theirs. So it's like the little money that they got off
Like,
of it was probably
So
from
for instance,
tours
even like
and
Blue
merch.
Ivy, the Blue Ivy getting the name, having her name on the track doesn't really matter because her parents already own the rights to the song. Like
It don't
all
matter.
that music that she's making, Beyonce's making, she ain't under no record label making that music. That's all her. So your kid, once
She
you,
does have deals with record labels.
no, I think she got a distribution deal, but I think she owns the masters to her music.
Yeah, after
Not
her,
all
her
like
dad,
after Lemonade and all that. I think she owns the
after
masters.
her and her dad separated ways, Jay-Z is now her partner. Her
Yeah.
Jay-Z
Yeah.
replaced her dad.
So her
Yeah.
putting that kid on the song don't really matter because her kid owns the song anyway.
But Sweeney, she put her name on the song for a reason. She didn't do it
Just in
She
case
just
she- I
didn't
guess-
do it just to do it.
Well,
for
I mean,
nothing.
if she sells if she sells the music, then obviously your kid would need to be on the song for them to continue
I
to
can
receive
see
royalties.
the purpose of it,
But
right?
if you
Okay,
never
so if
sell
you
the
saying-
music, it's counterproductive because you already own the music. So anybody that comes in and like, if I go, like for instance, if you saying I'm putting my kid on a song because one day I may die one day, so I'm going to put them on a song that I own to give them writer's credit. The only way that writer's credit actually means something is if the music no longer belongs to my kid.
Right. And who's to say that she won't do what everyone else is doing and sell their catalog off
You can do
30
that.
years from now?
You
Well,
can do
then-
So
that.
if she decides to do that 30 years from now
'Cause
and
guess
get
what? It
a
appreciate it.
$500 million paycheck from it,
Right.
then Blue Ivy will still be paid after that sale is done. After that ink is dry, Beyonce would get her big payday and
Right.
Jay-Z would get her payday, but then Blue Ivy will still benefit from that song being
She's gonna
used.
be a
But that's why I said that's the only way it would make sense. Me
Right.
personally,
Right.
though, I'm like, let your kid keep the.
But
I'd
overall,
rather you
I'm
just
not
own the
gonna-
music.
Overall, I'm not gonna hold you. Music aside, I do feel like Black people need to opt back into nepotism.
Yeah.
And nepotism,
Yeah.
for many reasons, was the one thing that helped strengthen the Black
Right.
community.
Mhm.
And nowadays, especially for Black people, we are the most individualistic
Yeah.
community. Anybody who grew up in the household, you can have 3 kids that grow up in the house. They can all say they want to do different things, and everybody's gonna push, support, and back it whatever way. The kids follow their dreams, and I do feel like that has been the most counterproductive thing to our progression,
Right.
because
Mhm.
when you losing family, losing family, what do you call it? Businesses, and you're losing family
Mhm.
property and stuff like that.
There is no legacy.
Right.
Right.
It also stops the children from having to come together and discuss actual financial decisions.
Very
Right.
true.
And even teaching them, that's why I said let's go back to the parenting, right? When you talk about putting them, like when big businesses put their children in there and they not qualified. But it's like that goes back to the parenting. If I built this business up, yeah, my son or daughter may want to do something different, but yeah, I have to, at an early age, I have to show them, like
Mhm.
Will Smith, and I'm terrible with their names, but
Right.
their children,
Yeah.
they were showed and exposed to that at an early age, right? So they want to, I want to be an actor.
Yeah, Jaden
I've been
has his
around
own
that.
water.
I like especially growing up in LA, it's nothing but swag and art. It's an artistic type of vibe in LA. So
Mhm.
you gotta understand, like when they're exposed to that, and then when you walk out and you living in Beverly Hills, and you living in those places, like it's going down the Melrose, you seeing a lot of different type of swag, different type of, like it's an artistic type of area down there in Hollywood, more specifically in LA. So when you get in that type of vibe and you exposed to that, it can transform them to want to do what, like I said, daddy and mommy did, versus you have like families that grow up in the hood or
Right.
in the suburbs, right? And they want to start a whatever business that they start. if they're not exposing them, say, hey, come work for this. Come, let me show you this. Come do the books. Come do this. Little small things to teach them responsibility, right? Financial literacy, and all these other things that come with owning a business. It's going to shape their mindset.
I think
in
the
all
only issue
seriousness,
that I
though-
had with that with celebrities is the fact that they were going to do that regardless. Their schools are etched into that. Their schools pivot them into all of those sectors, whether you're talking about money, whether you're talking about whatever. Their schools do that. They're paying thousands of thousands, whether tuition and the uniforms and all of that cost. So them doing anything that their parents doing, to me, a lot of times, especially now that we see that a lot of them didn't take it serious, a lot of them didn't actually like keep it up. It comes off as like the kids were
I ain't gonna lie,
temporarily
though,
interested and
but
it was a hobby.
Willow and Jane did have a lot of potential also.
That's what I take it as. When you grow
They had
did.
hella potential. They were
did.
actually
They
talented.
They're
They were
talented
very two
children.
talented children.
They
Yeah.
were talented.
Extremely talented.
But I would say I was gonna
And
say
then
this.
Jada ended up creating a rock band, and Willow helped sing with her, and
Right.
it was kind
I
of
think
like
it's
even
what
more
they
weird about it
naturally
too.
like to do.
Right.
They just,
That's why it
Don't wanna
upset me.
work
That's
to
why
do
it
it.
upset me
It's
so
a-
much when she said she didn't want to sing anymore. And then now, now you done got it.
Your mom
5 or
created a
6
whole
years.
rock band, and then you
And-
out onto it with your mom singing and stuff like that.
And then when your dad comes in, now you don't want to sing no more. But now years later, you trying to get back into the groove of singing. But what I was gonna say was, I think black people do practice nepotism a lot, though.
No.
Think of it this way. Now, granted, we don't have the resources to practice the
What?
same level of nepotism.
we do have a resource.
No, I mean black people in general. Most black people don't own a lot of shit. But however, how many of us know that how many of us done got people on at jobs just on the strength of that was our cousin
yeah,
or that was our brother or something like that?
Yeah.
We do it all the time. Like we practice nepotism is just not at the same level of
and it
oh,
helped
I
make
can put
it
you in a
easier
position to be the
'cause a lot
owner of a
us-
company.
Right.
Yeah, but
It make
talking
it
about.
easier because a lot of us don't carry the same surname.
And what's crazy though, because my white family, they known as the Harts, and they have a bad name at Ford on the strength that all of them got each other on at that same job, and every last one of them have worked at that same job. All of them got fired, of course. So now the
Right.
Hart name doesn't travel very well there.
Mhm.
But I've seen it my entire life how where you put your cousin on or you whatever, and that's
I mean,
technically nepotism. It's just not
Done
a,
in a different
it's
way.
not a great.
But it's,
let's take it
I
away
think
from
it's touch
families.
and go though, y'all. I think it's touch and go with our culture. Like I think a lot of times we are gatekeepers when it comes to certain positions and jobs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
for sure.
versus other cultures,
everywhere.
we are not brought. Like if black people, certain people get a good gig, they are literally like holding that near and dear.
We
to
don't want
heart.
people to make the
True.
money
Right.
that we
Oh,
made.
no.
Right.
I don't know.
Oh,
'cause
they're not gonna tell you the whole recipe to whatever's going on. They give you bits and pieces.
I'm gonna do
That
this
is in
though.
our culture.
I will say I see it more so with the women than I do the men.
Yeah,
There
the
are
men
a
treat
lot
each
of the
other right.
women
I
who
agree.
will with Frank. I ain't finna tell her how much I make, but I
Right.
have seen black men who will be like, "Hey, bro, let me know when you get your shit together. I'm finna put you
Mhm.
on."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Especially when it comes
It's
to
in the
like
music
trades
industry,
and CDLs
trucking,
and
all
wells,
that.
yeah.
they will put each
Yeah.
other on.
Women, not so
Trucking,
much.
yeah.
Tech,
Women-
trucking,
women
they will
not so
put each
much.
other on.
Because
The
you
women
know what
don't.
you know what I noticed a lot. How many times y'all been to Dallas? Everybody here been in Dallas.
Yeah.
How many times y'all walked into Popeyes or KFC or I don't
Full of
think there's
Hispanics.
KFC out here?
What?
All it takes is one person. All it takes is one Mexican to get in.
And
Full
it's
of
a
Next
whole
thing you know,
family.
It's
you
full
know
of
it.
Hispanics.
And
Yeah.
the whole family is in there.
Yeah.
You like,
Yeah.
damn, what the
Been
fuck?
working
Look,
for the
I'm from
business
LA.
for years,
Yeah.
especially.
That's
Yep.
what they do. They got a spot out there called Downey. They call it the Beverly Hills, the Mexican Beverly Hills. That's what they known for. You know what I mean?
Asians as well.
Like
Yeah.
Asians too.
And
That's
that's
what
and
it's
that's
about.
and like that's.
But
their
even
way,
when
'cause-
we were talking about like the Las Colinas area out here and stuff like that,
Indians.
if anybody,
Indians.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
yep.
heavy Indian, and heavy
Indians.
African.
Yeah.
That's what it's
Even
about.
in
Indian,
in the
heavy-
HOA
and they're-
community
they're
too,
all
where they
Not
reside.
even in the residential neighborhoods; they're in the apartment communities. It's
Yeah.
like certain areas where
Yeah.
you'll see just nothing but them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
like
got,
shit,
you got
like
Little Haiti, you got Chinatown, you got all that. You know what I'm saying? Especially from in New York, I'm pretty. They got the same
Oh
type
yeah,
of
Jewish
what
community
we
in the
got is
city.
called
'Cause
the
you sit
hood,
there- 'cause
South
you
Central,
honestly
Six
sit there and
O's, like it's
Yeah.
you honestly
different.
sit there and you wonder like, how is it that you can see one nail shop come up, then next thing you know, not necessarily
The
girl child,
gas
say,
station.
the next thing you know, the gas
Beauty
station
supply
is in
store.
Spanish, and then the beauty supply store is in Spanish. And
Yeah.
then you see a grocery
The
store pop up
grocery
right
store,
there.
yep.
And that's because what they do is that they put each
send the
other
word
on and
out.
say,
They send the
all
bird
right,
call out.
they send it like, hey, look, all right, I want you to buy. I want you to rent the building next door now.
Yep.
I want you to rent that one next door. I'm gonna put you in contact with the person,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
you gonna come in and
It's
you gonna
literally
build.
I think
connect
it's-
the dots.
I think it starts
And-
like this though. You're gonna stay here until you're 25. You're gonna stay in my house till you're 25. You're gonna make X amount of money, and that portion of money is gonna go to the family pot.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna buy this. The difference between black families is you out by you 15, 18.
Yeah.
You talk to me crazy,
Yeah.
you out on the street. You
It
gotta
ain't
do
even
it
talk
on
to
your
you
own.
crazy. You gotta
No,
go
it
because
don't
Like
even be
Boosie
kids
with
that
his
do
daughter's
that.
car.
It don't even be kids
You
that
ain't
do
even
that.
saw
It don't be. They be, I got it on my own. You gotta get
You
out
feel
here
me?
and
It's
get it.
stressful.
So
You
I
gotta
won't.
do
that
I
part
feel like
too.
I'm giving you a leg up by
yeah.
forcing you to be independent when it may not even be time for you to be out in the world.
It's
by
it's
yourself.
the mindset, and honestly, I don't agree with doing it, but I understand where it started because most times black people had a lot of kids. Everybody was living off of one income. If the mom actually did go out and she was able to put her money back into the pot,
True.
whatever she was able to get, because a lot of black women did a lot of bartering work. If we want to be honest, a lot of black women weren't getting paid. We was doing bartering work. But when we were able to get paid, all the money went to one spot. And then, of course, we hit the whole single parent mecca. And you sitting there, you got one woman who's trying to take care of four
3, 4
children
kids.
off
I
of
can't
one
feed
or
all
two,
5 of y'all.
off of 1 or 2 incomes.
So you gotta go out. And make money.
That's
Yeah.
where it came from.
Right.
It's not necessarily that I don't necessarily believe black people want to put their children out. They kind of don't have no damn
It's
choice.
choice. It's learned behavior.
Well,
you gotta
it's
go out
learned,
because
it's learned behavior because I know people who come from 2-parent households and their parents did push
did the
them
same
out
thing. Yeah.
because they were pushed out.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
It is
so it
learned
started
behavior.
that way, and then even though your child is not under the same
I'll
circumstances,
bullshit y'all.
you're
My
doing
kids
the
got
same
to
stuff that
my
you
kids got
had
till
to experience,
21.
Right.
and you had that experience because it was out of necessity.
Right.
You're giving your child that same experience out of learned behavior,
Right.
which is
Right.
2 different things.
And it is 2 different things, but then that's why I say we have to recognize like a lot of what we deal with, a lot of what we go through don't look like other cultures. We have a very much so individualistic mindset, but
I
it's
hate
kind of
that.
fucked up
I hate
because
that.
the black community thrives off of if one person make it, we all make it. If this one person can go shoot or throw a ball real well, we all gonna get out the hood. And they really rely on one person to piggyback and make the whole family successful. And then that looks like nobody else got to do shit, or because my cousin got it, I got
Just
it.
look at LeBron. Look at LeBron making it.
Thank you.
And look how many
He
of
put
his
his on.
friends
He put them on.
that came and flourished because of his
His
success.
Actually, I wouldn't say
But guess
you're
what?
not the only one to do
But
that.
guess what?
Absolutely insane.
Derrick Rose did it.
It's insane.
If you look at
They
most of them
did
ball
they
players,
part
Most of them
too,
do
though.
it.
most of
They
them
take
put
care
that.
of
That's insane.
multiple families. It's no secret that more ball players take care of multiple families. Like even Gabby and Dwayne Wade talked about it. How
But
even
there's a
she take
difference
care of
between
multiple
taking
families.
care of people and putting people on.
Yeah.
LeBron put
It
people
is.
on to feed themselves
Selves,
and take care of
exactly.
their own family.
Because he saw value. See, that's the thing, though. So, and I go back to what I was about to say too. Is that we talk about nepotism, but like I'm in a fraternity. So when I first started at Ernst & Young, my grades were good. I graduated top of my class, but yet where I come from, how I am, how I talk, I may have not gotten a chance as people who had graduated from Harvard, Yale, Stanford, right? But because I was part of a fraternity, they put my name up there, but I still
Yeah.
had to do my job. I still had to
Mhm.
interview. I still had to carry myself a certain type of way.
You just got a little bit more of a push.
I gotta
I'm
push.
gonna
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna keep it real. No, go ahead. My bad, bro.
No, so the reason why I said that is because to your point, right? LeBron put people on, meaning he put the names at the top of the
He
list.
did.
But them gentlemen already
They still had
had
to work.
value that was far beyond.
Yeah, Rich Paul was already.
He was already on a mental level that's like, you
Yeah.
know what? I see where you at. I don't have that. I need you to be a part of the
He had
team.
that hunger. He
That's
had
what I was
that
gonna
But
say,
drive.
like-
it would have easily. How many of us get to? Not to cut you off, Sweeney. I'm sorry, but it could.
And shout out to the D9 during homecoming season.
He could have easily got to that position and then looked at other people in the industry already established and been like, "Hey, bro, I respect what you're doing, but I'm getting advice and I need to go over
Yeah.
here to this person, and he did not do that.
Can I
But
speak
you,
to
but you,
something?
hold on, wait, hold on. You want to
Go
know the
ahead.
reason? Hold on, wait.
I'ma touch
You want to
on
know?
that
You want to
point.
know the reason
Go
why?
ahead.
You want to know the reason why LeBron didn't do it?
Tell me.
Because he didn't have to.
Yeah.
Is he from-
LeBron name carried
He was
so
the
much
talent.
weight
Yeah.
at that time. It was one of those things. It was like Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
When Michael Jordan came out, he could have put anybody. He didn't have to hire a white dude because he knew my name gonna make money regardless.
But
I would-
y'all,
I would- can I-
And
That's
LeBron
the
James,
same-
LeBron
it's
James
the
is the
same.
same
No,
way.
but it's the same as Beyonce. It's the same as Beyonce having her mother and Destiny's Child continue to make
Make
their
their
costumes
and do their
and
hair.
have Grammy outfits and do their
Because
hair. and
Destiny's
have her
Child is
daddy-
Destiny's
Because-
Child. Whether I put the
No,
white
but
person.
they weren't always Destiny's
They
Child.
weren't.
Let me add to
They
that.
were
Let me add to that.
not.
Let me
It
add to
takes
that.
a person with skill set and a
Yeah,
mindset and a
it's-
vision
but see,
to
look.
know this is the way I'm going.
Yeah.
This is the way I'm going to pop, and these are the people I'm popping with. I'm not switching codes.
That's it.
I'm not putting nobody. I'm
Nah,
not.
for real.
That's
that hood shit. That's what I'm saying. I say it's hood, but when you really come from the hood, you be like, okay.
These my people.
Exactly. Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
When I stopped playing basketball, and I'm gonna just give real world examples. When I stopped playing basketball, I became a regular student. I took the mentality of growing up in my neighborhood, growing up around, so I didn't grow up in the hood. It says my family, they moved us out. But yeah, I still had a certain mentality that I would see all these other privileged kids moving around campus complaining about shit. I'm like, I'm about to, with my city, we say we about to bleed this shit. We about to bleed them for whatever they need, whatever they have. I mean, so I went to the school with a certain mentality, like, oh, the homie was doing this. Now we got better resources. If I put him over here and he doing that in the hood, I already know.
What
If
he
I put him
gonna
over
do?
here, what he gonna do over here?
But the reason why
That's a different
the
mentality.
reason why
You know what I
the
mean?
reason why I say what I said is that y'all remember. I can't remember what movie it was, but there was a dude that was talking, and he was like, he was trying to bring his friend along. He was trying to have his friend put him in. You know what I mean? He was trying to put his friend on as his manager, but his manager just couldn't do what the Jewish guy was doing, and that's why he was forced to. He went and hired the Jewish guy to put him in all these spotlight where he was able to get deals with Nike and all of this. Right. The difference with LeBron and a lot of athletes, and
Are you talking about Jump?
was it that?
Is that the movie Jump
I can't remember.
or Air?
It might have been one of the. No, not Air. No.
Air is the Michael Jordan.
Yeah, Air is the Michael Jordan. What LeBron had that a lot of people didn't have, and the reason why Rich Paul was able to, the reason why he was able to give Rich Paul that job, and Rich Paul was able to, not mind you, he did know that Rich Paul could actually do the job.
Yeah.
Was that he was like LeBron James in his mind. LeBron James' name was, bro, you can't fail with me. Rich Paul, you cannot fail with my like.
So it was like an automatic cheat code
Yeah,
because LeBron
I'm doing
was
cheat
the
code
talent.
for you to be able to. You already talented and what I know you can do the job because I watched you. Because let's keep it real. I'm guarantee you, Rich Paul was there every step of the way through all the contracts, through him talking to all these different people
And watching
in
what
high
was
school.
happening in the background.
Like he already knew.
already talking to him, telling him like
Yeah.
they was probably talking about different things and having different discussions.
So
on the
when
back
LeBron
end.
came to him, was like, I don't have to go get the Jewish dude
Well, I heard
because my name is already
Okay, so
going
what
to
about
bring
Beyonce with
the
her parents?
resources.
So what
I
about
heard
Beyonce
So
with her
with
parents?
Beyonce, like, so the
It
difference.
wasn't everybody keep trying to make it seem like it was Beyonce. It wasn't Beyonce. It was Matthew.
Yeah.
Matthew was the brains. And
No, but what I'm saying, when Beyonce started to become Beyonce and Destiny's Child, I'm sure there was so many people in their ears saying
that was Matthew. All of that was Matthew.
no outside, just like every other star from the 70s.
But what I'm
that
telling
had
you is
great management and had
no.
great people around
What I'm
them.
telling you is the mentality instilled in her to
the
keep
mental-
it in the
the
family
mentality was her dad.
was Matthew.
Oh, okay, okay.
Matthew is
Yeah.
the catapult to that. And
Yeah.
as much as people love to say Aaliyah was this great artist, you can't contribute her without contributing R. Kelly. Her imagery,
yeah, yeah,
everything that
yeah.
everybody loved, it was the same thing with Beyonce. He created the stigma today that we know as the whole run with dancers and everything. He did it with her.
Yeah.
He had her running in heels, running on treadmills and everything, singing, dancing, everything that she did. He groomed that, even down to her mom being that, because Tina worked in a salon. When they didn't have, Tina was right there. She improvised. So that was where it came
And that's
from.
why when
He
when she
instilled that
finally
in her.
made it, it was like, I don't have to go and hire nobody
I
else. My
have
mama's
this
been doing it
already.
the whole time. Y'all like me
But
when my mama was doing
How many
this.
people fall prey to? Okay, yeah, you got me to this point, but now I need to start going with this person.
It's only
A
if
lot of people
I would
fall
say
prey to
it's
that.
only if
It
the reason
depends on how they come
the
up.
thing about
Because
you have
if
to
we're
think of it
thinking
this way.
about it, Megan Thee Stallion did the same thing, and it kind of backfired on her.
Who?
She did what?
She came up with people who were already around her,
Right.
and it backfired on her. She did try to have that same type of mentality.
See?
She did try
That's
to
what
have
I'm
the
talking
same
about.
in-house thing, whether you're talking about her management, because first her manager was her mom. Then it went to Kelsey, her friend, and we seen how that turned out. And then she tried to have the whole hairstylist thing, people who came up with her real friends.
So is it
People
is
who
it the
were
luck of
around
the draw?
her.
Is it really like?
No, I would say
Is
I
it
would
the
say
luck of the
I think
draw?
to LeBron's point, I don't know if it was Rich Paul, whoever we was talking about, but he said he used to buy jerseys from this dude all the time. He was like, yeah, I love wearing jerseys, so I would go. He had always had the best jerseys. So he would go to him and he will always make sure that his jerseys was fresh and all. He was a good businessman. He was smart.
yeah.
And he was like, where you get the jerseys from? He started asking him questions, right? And then when he started asking him the questions,
He
started
recognized,
understanding.
like,
He started recognizing, okay,
yeah,
I
you-
recognize his value. Now, there's a difference between, this is my sister, to back to the nepotism, or this is my sisters, my cousins, my boy from the hood, right? That I just know him. You're just going to be my manager. That goes back to the qualification.
I would
aspect.
also say here's the difference though. Probably with the Megan Thee Stallion thing, couldn't nobody eat off of Megan Thee Stallion's name the same way that people were able to eat off of LeBron James' name.
True.
LeBron James made millionaires off his name.
Yeah.
Megan Thee Stallion, you have to remember, she came in.
Yeah.
You already see she's fighting over royalties over her own music right
Yeah.
now. She only dropped one out. Did she drop one
I
out?
No,
don't
it's
know.
she's
I don't
she's
know.
like 3
Don't
albums
do
in
that.
now.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
This is-
But like, yeah, but y'all remember she's fighting over the ownership, so you can probably already tell right now there wasn't really like she barely even got the trickle down money, let alone being able to trickle it
Yeah,
down
she can't feed nobody.
to her.
Well, my thing
Compared
was,
to Ice
it wasn't
Spice's
to me.
situation.
So
it
if you
Spices.
hungry underneath
It
her, you've been
wasn't-
doing her hair.
But no.
Right.
It wasn't to me about the money. It was about the mentality. That's what we were speaking to, because Casey was basically saying, like, why don't other people fall into it? The reality is most of these influencers and stuff like that, or even artists, they're not attached to people who really believe in their dream.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That too.
And so that's why I say it goes back to the individualistic mentality of the Black community, because when you first started business, I remember when entrepreneurship kicked off and it was like this heavy thing on the social media platforms. First thing they would say is stop looking for your family and your friends to support your
Oh
business.
Yeah.
That is the very first
COVID.
thing.
Yeah.
And it's
That was around
crazy
COVID.
that even now you will see that. You will see people who have been trying to be an artist. They've been posting music and posting all this other stuff. And what they say, hey, tell your partner he need to give up his dream for rapping. He need to get his music off SoundCloud and go get a CDL. That shit is real. The reality is most times people don't have a circle that pours back
And cultivate
into
them,
them.
yeah.
So when they do take off, people come with their hand out like, oh, I've been here and it's like, it's kind of cold. I'm going to go take my chances with these people who don't know.
Yeah.
me.
Agreed.
That too.
Agreed.
Also, you know what I mean? Because that's also a part of it. I think a lot of
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think it's a
right here
number
with
of
y'all
things.
right
I think it's a combination of them all. Where one, your friends really can't get you in the same rooms that you need to be in. That's the reality.
But my
When-
friends can share my posts. My friends can
I'm
comment
talking
on my
about
shit.
at that level when you finally walk away, where if you
It
become
don't matter, because
successful,
my
and
thing is, if you fuck with my vision, if you fuck with me,
And some people
don't stop it.
Some people don't.
Don't do it when it's convenient for you,
Some
or
people
when,
don't.
or when it's necessary. Like, don't pull your camera out when we finally out kicking it at the club. But when I make this post on Monday, then you all of a sudden skipping past and you can't see it. But I see
Some
you been
people
active
do
for 8 hours all day.
But it's
Like,
a thin line,
they
though.
don't.
It's not no
it's a-
thin
it's-
line.
It is, though.
I'ma
because
be real.
Because you got to put in the work.
No.
It's different.
No. What Paris is saying is 100%. I've experienced this myself. Okay,
I experienced it. I know
This is
better.
coming from somebody who's been dancing since they was 3.
Yeah.
Okay, I literally set the blueprint in my hometown to be one of the first and come up with some girls who have danced for the AFL, NBA, and NFL.
Yeah.
What I do is not a game. I used to dance for Cash Money. I did casting directing for them. I've been in videos. I've been in movies doing the jitterbug to hip hop, everything. My resume goes all the way back to the early 2000s when I became professional.
Yeah.
I literally had people that know me, that came up with me, that I've passed them in my dance career, that have literally had opportunities that have included every other person that came up with us doing stuff accept me.
Yeah.
Okay, that knew that, oh, I can be in that room with them, not to X them out or be their competition, but be included in the opportunity.
Yep, just
and
be
was
around.
legitimately everybody I know from the same circle included accept me. And I, like Paris is saying, I've accepted that sometimes just my presence is a problem for
Yep.
people.
Oh, no, that's
And
that's jealousy.
that
That's more or less.
I
I'm
love
not trying
being
to put.
around other like-minded people. If I have an opportunity and I know there's people in the same wheelhouse, what is it taking away
It's
from
not-
me
I'm
if
getting
I'm
an
already
opportunity.
included
Oh,
to include you?
But I think
okay.
it goes back to what you were saying around how women like deal with each other in that space, right? It's a different type of vibe where like men. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Right?
No,
It
I
does,
agree
it does,
with you.
It does happen.
It's facts.
But I think it. You women said that in terms of how women, interact with a certain
money
level of
part.
But
success.
yeah, it's
I guess
not
the
all.
difference-
It's not all women. It's like
No, it's not all women. We're
Yeah,
not
and I
speaking-
really
right.
think like Paris was raised with boys. I was raised with brothers. Like
So y'all have a
and you
different
were too.
mentality.
Is
Yeah.
this? My mother raised me that I'm me.
Yeah.
Like, you can't take nothing away from me.
Yeah.
We can pour into each other and lift
right.
each other up.
Right.
Me and you doing something, we're not the same person.
And-
So you see what I'm saying?
And another
Right.
thing about
And
that
believe in
is,
God,
right?
too.
And
Shit,
another
right.
thing,
You know
another
what
thing
I
about
mean?
that is what I have learned is when it comes to the networking aspect, Black people now, and I don't like talking negative. I don't like talking negative about Black people. I'm about as pro-Black as you can fucking get. I don't
Yeah.
like doing it. But I will say,
he probably
You can
was
love
talking
Black
shit
people.
about him
You
earlier.
can
I'm just-
you
No, no, no.
you can tell your family. You can love Black
No,
people,
no,
but you gotta tell the
nah.
truth too, though.
I'm gonna always tell the
That's
truth.
facts.
I just hate talking in a negative manner to
Yeah.
where it paints Black people in a generalized
Man,
form.
stop being
And
so
look-
sensitive.
Oh no, that ain't what that is, baby.
No, not you.
Wrong person.
Not you.
The-
I'm talking
yeah.
about
the
the
listeners.
What-
The listeners. Yeah.
What I will say is, I have learned being in this position, people do not want to network or collaborate until they can see what it has got in you, until they can actually
That's
see
true.
what
See
is
real
behind
results.
it.
Yeah.
And they act like
I'm
I have
going through
seen
that.
so many quote unquote false prophets on the internet. People who are showing you that they're renting cars or they're leasing these vehicles, they
Oh,
live in
yeah.
these nice houses, this, that, and the third. So when they showing you an ebook course, they're telling you in the ebook course, I got this because I did this. And they can see that. And the whole time they coming out, they scamming, they lying.
It's all
But
that.
for a person who is authentic, right?
Yeah.
It's just you and your small cultivated followers.
Right.
And ain't nothing else coming with this.
Yeah.
They're like,
But if you
okay, what
think-
else?
but
Where's,
you know what
where's
though?
this? And it's like, I should not have to show you what I have profit to gain your support.
I will say this though, and
Either you want to
niggas-
support it or
Or
not.
you don't.
This social media BS, like, I love it and I hate it because at the same time,
It ain't no different than the past, though. People have and taking
you
social
said no
media.
different from-
It ain't no different than the pastors. People will go to a
Oh,
bigger church.
With the
True.
pastor?
They
Oh.
will go to a bigger
True.
church that's
True.
popping,
True.
that's got the young folks, that's got the nice
They trying
everything.
The
they
lights,
trying to
camera,
catch something.
action.
They trying to go over there and crack something.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm
You
being,
right.
I'm
You
being
right.
for real.
You right.
Instead of that one little small church that's got their regular old school members
Yeah.
that's sitting there, they will go to a bigger powerhouse
Yeah.
that looks nice, that's got the whole screens and everything looks fancy, and you can pay your tithes online, a little bit more upscale. They got the nice little up-to-date music. They'll go there before they even go to the smaller church. And it's like, at some point, we have to start realizing that popularity don't make Blackness, and that's not the power in
Mm-mm.
Blackness.
But
Popularity should not be the power in being Black.
I would say,
I would agree
because
with that.
I agree with you when you said that a lot of people don't want to move until they can find out, till they know what they can gain from it as well. And this is what I told someone when they were talking about going out to the community and how they can get young boys to buy into all these different programs and stuff
Mhm,
like that. I was like, a lot of them. You want to know why the drug dealer has an easier time getting a hold of them than you do? Because
showing them
because they can put
change.
money in that kid pocket
Yep.
right now.
Right.
It ain't they got when you go out and you tell a kid, look, if you come over here, you got to do this class for the next 9 months, but maybe you know what I mean. One day you'll be okay. That kid gonna be like, no, I gotta
I
go.
can't
man.
see that
I
right
can't
now."
see that right now. I gotta go do this.
Right.
And it was the same thing that happened with the HBCU thing, because y'all remember before Deion Sanders went to Jackson State.
Yep.
There was a whole push
Yeah.
of them trying to push black kids to go to
Yeah,
HBCUs.
HBCUs, yeah.
And they were telling them, hey, you need to sacrifice and go to the HBCU. Don't go
Instead
to the
of-
We
Power
not
5
getting
white school.
accredited.
Or the
They got the
ACC.
celebrities sending money to the same 3 schools,
And they were
Spelman,
like,
Clark,
and what they were trying to
Howard,
do
like
was,
it ain't other HBCUs that need it. Jackson's still without water right now today. You got Grambling, you got UAPB, you got
Shout
all
out
of
to the Quinn,
Vanderbilt,
Paul
you
Quinn.
got Tuskegee, A&M, you got Florida A, you got all of these schools,
Don't
right?
forget
Shout out
Southern.
to homecoming season again, HBCU. I'm proud alum from an HBCU, but the money is necessary, it's needed, and what they emphasize is where the money is being taken from the kids. They don't talk about the mold or the broken down buildings or how they need to renovate. The grass get cut, the kids go to school. The enrollment needs to be higher.
but
They got empty buildings and it wasn't no vision there until Dion decided to see the vision. And I don't like that.
But no, I would say no. What I was going with is that this is the problem that I had with them because there was an expectation of the kids to go to those schools. They told these kids to sacrifice scholarships going to Alabama, going to Georgia, things like that.
That could have
All
been
in
more
the name-
financially profitable.
All
for
in
them.
the name of going to an
And they
HBCU
gonna
to
get
build up the
paid now,
HBCU.
too.
And what I tried to tell a friend of mine, I was like, no, what should have happened was what Deion Sanders did. He went out and took a chance. Well, they both took a chance on each other. They both benefited. But what I was like, no, a lot of these ex-NFL players, you need to go to the HBCUs
Amen.
Yeah.
and create the environment that will
Yeah.
make it beneficial for
Right.
these kids to
Exactly.
come
Just
there.
put it on
Right.
You
one
can't
person.
expect the kid to
Yeah.
sacrifice
Right, no.
for the school
You
before
don't have-
making
you
the
know, I'm
school.
not about to put myself on the cross to go hype up some HBCU, and I got a whole family that's on my
Exactly,
back
and that's what they were
riding.
asking the kids to
No.
do. But here's the problem, though.
It doesn't make any sense.
Dion did it, and this is why I supported him up until he left Jackson State.
I
He
still
did it,
support him.
and I was cool. I'm like, see, that's what was supposed to happen. Then he got what he do. He started getting kids to come to Jackson State, and then as soon as Dion left, now all of a sudden nobody. Now we're talking about, oh, you shouldn't let kid. You should be able to choose whether you want to sacrifice for HBCU or not. That wasn't that shit y'all were talking when it was the kids' career on the line.
Exactly.
Y'all only saying that now because it was Deion Sanders
Exactly.
on the line. And,
And we
Deion
gotta
Sanders
really-
don't actually need
That money. He
that
didn't
money.
need it
Them
at all.
kids needed that money. Y'all were telling them
Exactly.
kids to sacrifice, but now you're looking at Deion Sanders and saying, oh, well, now we get it.
And then it's coming from a lot of people who
That's a
are
good
not
point.
knowledgeable about
a
going
good
to
point.
college. It's coming from a lot of people who don't understand or have the financial capacity to support a 18, 19, 20-year-old in college for the duration of their college years. Because most times those kids have to go get jobs. I was one of them. Their grades slack. They can't participate, or they're struggling in other ways. You can't send them to school with a car. You can't
Okay.
send them to school with what they need. But if they were at a school, and I love the HBCU, I'm putting myself in position so my future children can go to one if they want to. But the reality is, if the child needs to go to school in their state to save money and get that comfort and support,
Hello.
that's what they need to do.
And that's
Don't
what they gonna
send them
do.
somewhere trying to make it seem like it's on the kids to upkeep it. No, it's on these adults who are in these institutions
Period.
who can go vote,
Period.
who can also make all of these other decisions, who at school board meetings, and who can
Yeah.
go
You know what
and
I
have
think?
a degree and be in the classroom.
You
to
build
teach
it up,
them.
and then you
Right.
tell now that
Yeah.
you
You
give the
keep
kid.
them.
I
You
think-
keep
I
it
think
steady
I'm gonna
for
keep
the
it
kids.
real. I was
I
not.
think a
If
black
it wasn't for me having a
junior
kid, ain't no way in hell I
black
would have
junior
graduated.
college would be very successful. If you do a black junior college, yeah, that's money there. Because you gonna get this, you gonna get state money, federal money. You gonna get the kids who may not be able to go to the families who may not be able to go to a full university. But if you do a black junior college, where the first 2 years, 3 years of your college career,
You're just doing
Y'all
pre-read.
know-
it's pretty
You
much
want to
the
know
same
something
shit,
I found
you
out
know
that was
what I mean?
tripped out though about tuition? And my wife told me this, so take it with a grain of salt. JR, don't post it till you do the research on it.
Oh Lord.
She was telling me how tuition started. She said college used to be free.
It
Yeah.
did.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It
College
wasn't
did
until
used to be
it
free.
wasn't the
They
reason why
started
they started.
tuition so black people
So
couldn't
black
go to
people
school.
couldn't go to school
yeah.
because they knew we couldn't afford
Yeah,
to
they
go
knew
to
we
school.
couldn't.
So they started tuition. So basically, when now that it's done cycle back around, and now everybody's talking about make college free. Now everybody up in arms talking about, well,
Yeah.
we don't want to do that now.
Yeah.
What you mean?
Because
Shit,
there's too
y'all
much
was-
money in it. That's why.
I say when I went to junior college, I went to junior college. When I went to junior, I was getting paid to go to school. My parents, you know what I'm saying, they were entrepreneurs, so they filed zero on their taxes, so we had no money, right? So at the end of the day, I got federal grants, aid, all of that. So a lot of my friends who parents who came from the inner city, They did the same thing. We was getting a check every semester. We getting 5 to 10 racks every
My
semester.
parents made too much money for me, like, and they
Yeah.
made too much money on paper.
Right.
It wasn't like,
Yeah.
because they used to tell my parents all the time, man, y'all make a lot of money. My parents used to respond, well, where it's at? And I bullshit you not, I would not have been able to finish school had I not had my own kid. Had I had not had a son,
Yeah.
that financial aid
Hey,
was
was-
ghost.
Yeah.
I was gonna have to drop out in my sophomore
and shout
year.
out to us who went because we was the brains and the scholarship paid the way because I
Yeah,
went
I
to
ain't had
school
none of
for
that.
free.
Shit. I didn't have none of that. I took the first school.
It-
I was
it
about to be
was-
in. I was
it
about to
was-
be a Marine.
It was me having the knowledge. I graduated very much so top of my class. So yes, I
Good
had the
for
knowledge
you,
and
Paris.
I had actually the most scholarships in my entire class. I had over $1 million worth of scholarships.
Wow.
And I got accepted into some of the top schools. I
Yeah.
accepted into Baylor, Vanderbilt. I got accepted into Xavier, Grambling, USC. I know you mentioned that. I got
Mhm.
accepted into Howard. My dad wouldn't let me go. And I hated
Why?
that because it was too far away.
Oh.
I got accepted into Howard. I wanted to be a Bison. I got accepted into Spelman. I got accepted to a lot of places, but I am so happy with the decision that I made.
Where'd
It was
you go?
very much so life changing. The illustrious University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, the flagship of the Delta, black and
Oh.
gold to the day I die. I
UAPB,
am a
huh?
golden lion.
Jaguar here.
I took the
We
first
cousins.
school.
We
I
cousins.
took the first school that sent me an acceptance letter.
Hey.
Shout out, and it's always love for
Whoever-
Southern. It's
it was
always
either
love
that
for
or
Delta
Frank.
State.
What up,
It's
Jack?
always love for Grambling. It's always love for them. They're my cousins. I always
Mhm.
say it. It's
But
always love
You
for
know
them.
where I'm from? We don't have an HBCU. In Indiana, we do not. The closest thing we got to an HBCU is a state, Indiana State University.
That's what I'm saying though. The junior college move would be good and it's bread there. It's a everybody want to go to the big universities.
That's what Paul Quinn is doing, though. That's where I
That's
came
what
out
they
here.
said.
Yeah.
It's a work scholarship. So I was getting
Yeah.
paid to go to school, but I was also working for major corporations that partnered with
Yeah.
the school. So like Chime, whatever company you could imagine.
Mhm.
You're an intern there. You have to work a certain amount of hours, and they pay this into your tuition at the end of the year.
That's dope.
And it's the same thing. It's a junior college. It's I won't say junior college because they have those core majors,
Yeah.
but they're only going to be liberal arts, and they were trying to partner with other schools to get those STEM students in.
Mhm.
But that's where that work scholarship comes in, which I appreciated because those STEM students, they're going to not have those good grades depending on where they come from.
That's true.
And you might not be able to qualify for that. So that's where I came up because I was having an issue as an engineering student for years, keeping my grades up and
Engineering
down.
is hard.
Mechanical as a Black woman in mechanical engineering, upstate New York, for years by myself with a education from one of the worst cities with the worst murder rates.
Mhm.
So that's where Paul Quinn came into play. And it gave me the opportunity to go to school and get it paid for because New York State was like, your grades ain't good enough. All that money is gone.
Yeah.
It's out the door. Like,
And that happens a lot, and we don't talk about that part. That's
At
why I will
all.
never be for anybody telling children what to make the best decision is
yep,
for them.
first, yep.
But for a person, first generation who walked it, my
Right.
dad
Mhm.
wasn't college educated, my mom wasn't college educated. It was no thing. I had nobody to tell me about that experience. And then when you're on campus and you're looking at all those children who actually did have that foundation, they parents pledged and they parents
And
met
they bullshit.
on
They up there
campus.
ugly, they so-
Yeah.
or not even
Yeah.
not even
Doing
bull,
great.
not even if they weren't bullshitting.
Yeah.
They're there and they're able to take their education seriously
Yeah.
because they have that cushion. They've already
true.
had somebody who sat there and told them just go to school and be a kid.
And they
Just
got
go
to
and
see the
enjoy.
results.
They got to receive the ear go.
Mhm.
I went into it blind. So to be where I am today, I will pivot myself and call myself successful as opposed to my parents because of the fact that I was able to have that experience, but it was a rough road. You know, my mom at one point in time, she wasn't able to send me money, but every 2 weeks, you got 2 other kids who coming right out of school with me, right behind me. You done paid for prom, you done paid for, graduation,
Graduation
and
fees,
then you
cap
got
down.
this other kid in college, and I'm partaking in stuff in college. I started going back to my roots. I started doing hair, and I was getting to the bag. I had to
You'll
figure
get
it
bread.
out.
Shit, you got
And
money sent to you for your shit. I ain't get no money.
I
shit.
mean, when I first
my freshman year.
when I first went, though, of
Get it
course,
how you
I
live.
came from a 2-parent household. I was the first child. And when I first went, my brothers are very much so minimalist, and they boys. I was the person who was participating in everything. I was a cheerleader.
Yeah.
I did the student
Oh,
Same.
council. I did
Yeah.
everything.
Black student union.
Everything.
So when I went to college, that was already the expectation, because before I went to college, I went to a charter school. I went to Bill Clinton Arkansas School of Mathematics, Sciences, and the Arts. It's only 13 charter schools like that, which are like STEM schools. It's focused on math and science in the country, and you have to be qualified to get in. So I was selected amongst, it's only 210 students who can go, and I was selected there. So my mom was already accustomed to the idea that once I go off, I need income. You know, I need money. My parents were already accustomed to that. And so when I went to college, it just continued. But when my brothers went to school, it was like, we got to make some shit shake, because that's not going to work. You got 3 grown kids in some form of school. They were in they were in trade school. I was in college. I got a fucking job. I had to make it happen.
Oh, yeah.
And I missed out on a lot. I missed out on a lot of my spring breaks. I didn't get the opportunity to go do what the other kids did. I was there working during spring break. I had an apartment. I've had an apartment since I was 19. I've been on my own paying bills that long, because this is the outcome of what it doesn't look like when your kids don't experience you going to college and don't nobody tell you shit. You don't know. You're sitting there and your resources are coming from people who just have a heart to reach out and do it.
Yeah,
for
my
Absolutely,
sister,
that
she
was
had
me.
She had an easier time because she went to my alma mater. She had an easier time because I experienced it first. The first thing I told her, I said, I'm like, okay, you're going to have to spend your first year on campus. I was like, yo, sophomore year, move off campus. Because it's a lot cheaper in rent than to pay that tuition, to pay that room and board. And I was like, she already had work ethic. She already, like me, when I graduated high school, I had a job at Burger King. And I was pretty much half-assedly at that. I really didn't care to, like, I quit my job on the 4th of July because I told them I was going to get off. I told them I wasn't coming, and they said, well, you got to come or you fired. Well, then I'm not coming. So,
Oh,
so,
man.
so when I went to college, it was more like, you know what I mean? I was more, but my sister, she had a higher work ethic. Like, she had a job all through her senior year. And then, so when she went to college, I was like, look, you already got the work ethic. All you need is a job to pay your rent. It's gonna be like $300 a month, $400. I think she paid like $5.
Where this
4 or
at?
5.
I paid $400 in rent.
Well, I'm from. I went to school in.
I'm
Indiana.
sure
I
it's
went to Ball
higher
State
now.
University. So it's a small college town, but like the cost of living there is nowhere near what it is here.
Nowhere.
Like there, I was doing just fine, charging $20 for a head, charging $20 a head for haircut.
Yeah, I was charging like $80 for box braid.
Yeah,
Like,
so
I
her
was
being
knocking
there
out
working
3
at work,
heads
she
in
could
a
work
day.
at Five Guys and pay her rent.
Damn.
And the rent was literally, it was you pay your rent and you pay for electricity.
This
Yeah.
is-
And you know what I mean? My
2000s?
parents, no, this was over the last 3-4 years.
What?
She
Nah.
graduates next spring.
Damn.
So I told her, I was like, move off campus, because now she gets a little refund check back. And I'm like, use that to pay your rent.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get way more out of it than if you was to pay, because you're gonna think college tuition at Ball State was 8,000-9,000.
See,
The room
look,
and board was another
See
10,
what you
12.
saying?
Yeah.
What you saying right now? They do the same thing at the junior colleges, and the classes are cheaper. So you really getting bread, and I'm telling you, you gonna get bread back. You gonna be able
I'll
to
be
buy.
real with you. If I would have known that because like I said, when I went to college my freshman year, it was either go to the Marines, join the Army, go to the Marines.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for me getting accepted at college, I would have never went to college.
Mhm.
But because I got accepted, I was like, well, I ain't going over there.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go. And I was cool with
If
going to
I would
college.
have known then
But
what
had
I
I
know now,
known that I could have got I could have used financial aid to get my barber's license, I would have never done none of it.
if I would have known then what I knew now, I would have went to a PWI. I would have started where I said I was initially gonna go, which was University of Arkansas in Little Rock. But that was because it was tracked to what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then I also would have had the support that I needed. If I would have went to Little Rock, I had family in Little Rock. I didn't recognize like how necessary that was. Like okay, it was more job opportunities in Little Rock. I went to Pine Bluff. I didn't have as much family in Pine Bluff. So I was basically like thugging it out. It was me on my own. So it's like you need that support. You need to be able to say, I'm hungry tonight. My auntie done cooked. And if I would have known then, I had my cousin up there, the dorms were a little bit better, but it also made more sense for what I actually went to school for. If I would have went to Little Rock, I would have been an
Yeah,
attorney.
because
by
I'm
now.
sure all of us went to college.
Mhm.
You burned through that meal. You burned through that meal plan quick as hell.
Well,
When
see,
you go only-
after, like
when
I
you
said,
go
I
only eat
lived
off-
on
I was playing
campus.
basketball
I only lived on
in
campus.
college.
Nah, for me, after
So
I
we
got
always
off.
had boosters and people just give us, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, extra
Well,
meal.
that meal plan
the-
I
was-
lived at home.
After my first year, right? After my first year, my second year, that first semester, I stayed on campus. I didn't have an issue with the meal plans and stuff like that because I had friends and stuff like that. Like I had friends where, one of my friends' mama, she got food stamps, stuff like that. So being hungry wasn't a thing for me. There were still times where it was like you wanted a home cooked meal. I also only live an hour and 15 minutes away. Every weekend, if I wasn't working, I was in Little Rock or I was at home. But realistically, thinking about it for my education, I should have went to Little Rock because I would have been able to fulfill my degree out to its entirety.
I was fucking starving. Ooh wee. You burn.
But you do need that support.
Where you can only
You
eat.
do.
Where you can only eat
10 meals a week.
Yeah, and you have to
Yeah.
go to the. You have to go to the buffet.
Unless
Yeah.
you upped it and you got 15, then
But you
yeah.
like the meal, like our meal plans was dope because you know on campus they give you all the restaurant stuff, so you get the amount of the certain amount of dollars per semester. But man, you eat enough KFC and enough Burger King, shit, you burn through that money
Hey,
quick
look,
as hell.
let me tell you what I used to do. I used to go to I think it's like emergency health or something like that. Say, look, at a certain point, yeah, I was living on my car and all that, but I would just tell them like, yeah, I don't have no place to live. I'm hungry. Like I pay rent. I pay tuition here. Like, what programs do y'all have? I go talk to somebody about it, whether it be my counselor or somebody at the tutoring office or something like that. They'll connect me with somebody. I go in there. They would give me $100 Target cards. They'll give me food for the week. Come back if you need help. Come back next week. So I'd be like, shit, bet.
Shit, that's
That's what I'm saying. That's that go back to the hood mentality where you trying to bleed them.
Resourceful. You gotta be
Exactly. You trying to be
resourceful.
resourceful when you have to grow up and really try to really get it.
Outside the family. Like you can't call a family
You can't
like,
call the family.
can I get this $100 Target card, Mom?
Yeah,
Like you
it's
can't.
like, I
And
can't.
then they
No.
also, like you saying, on my campus, they also had a small area where we had like a couple churches and stuff like that. They would have
food
they would have
drives.
food drives.
Most
They'll
people
tell.
not gonna go there because they embarrassed. You gotta think.
Yeah.
You in school with 18 all the way to maybe like 25, 20, 26. You know what I'm saying? The latest. Most of them kids
On campus, rather.
On campus, that's what I'm saying. On campus.
That live on campus.
That live on campus. They not using them. They gonna be embarrassed. You see something. You see your shorty or whoever else. Or shorty see you down getting canned goods and all that.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't necessarily because I would say that most people probably didn't know about it.
But
No.
Because if
No,
it
for us,
wasn't if it
not
wasn't
for-
for
not
friend group.
Not,
right,
you
if it
don't
wasn't
know.
for
not
if
for
it wasn't
our
for
school. For our school,
they gonna let you know.
like I said, it's a different experience when you go to a HBCU. If you ain't been to one, I just encourage, like, just go in
For the
open
experience,
house or
yeah.
something just for the experience.
Games,
Because they
yeah.
would literally have posters up where they were giving away stuff, or they would send us an
Yeah.
email. The teachers would make an announcement. I can never downplay the type of love and the type of
Yeah.
grooming that comes along with
We're
going to a HBCU
compared to a
because
PWI.
you will get people that do not know you from a can of paint that walk up to you and say something to you and stick with you. And if you need help, many people will use their own personal resources to
Yeah.
give you the help.
well, I was speaking more towards
that.
like what goes on locally because even when I at Ball State, the locals had nothing to do with the kids on campus. Like the
that's
groups
how it
did
was
not
in my little
they
town,
did not
yeah.
intertwine at all. It was Ball State is over there and Muncie, Indiana is
They
right
have
here.
the resident.
And
Yeah.
so and when I went to Indiana State, it was the same way. Had it not been for my friend, I would have never really actually. I kicked it with the locals more than I kicked it with people on campus.
But see,
And that's how I knew about a lot of things
Exactly.
locally, was because I actually had a friend that lived in Terre Haute that I can go hang out with. So I wound up knowing more about the local stuff.
Yeah.
But if you live on campus, a lot of the times all you know is what's inside those four streets.
And see, that was a
of your
completely,
campus.
it was completely different because for me, my school had several other high schools, and I know 3 for sure, 4 for sure off top. Those students, they came to Lions Day. They come to all of the commencement programs. The high schools are included into our homecoming. The high schools are included into what's happening as far as the regular games and stuff like that. It is an ingratiated thing where they want the students in high school. It starts early to parallel and go to that school. So many times the Alumni Association is very secure. The Greek associations are very secure. I had women who were in multiple organizations of the sororities who would come into the place that I worked at the time. And they were just black as hell. I will always give so much credit to Pine Bluff because that was the first place where I saw black elitism in a surplus. Certain neighborhoods you go into, it's Ferraris, it's Corvettes, it's Range Rovers, and the women, the men that come in, they got on suits, or if you seeing them, they're knowing how to be a part of their community. And when the kids are on campus, regardless if it's college kids, regardless if it's high school kids, they're trying to pour into you in a positive way. Even despite the kids being rough, despite, people having their upbringings, fights, whatever. People were getting reprimanded for doing what they were supposed to do. But if they felt like they could save you, if they felt like you just needed a little bit more grooming, they were going to pour into you so you can get what you need. Whether it was family problems, friendship problems, money problems, you got what you needed at my school.
So when you say that, let me ask you this. Do you think that experience helped you amplify that vision for yourself? Because I did the PWI and my mechanical engineering journey started getting blurry because I'm not seeing anybody like me.
Resources.
There's no resources. I'm not seeing anybody like me really getting results from anything. They're all
You went
sports
to
management.
HBCU too?
I went to Southern.
I thought so. That's why I say it's a different thing. One thing that I will say that and it's so minuscule, right? But, and Casey probably can speak with this, there won't ever be a time where you catch me out in public, I don't keep myself up. I remember when we first went to campus as freshmen, they had the seniors come in and tell us on orientation, everybody in here who got on pajamas, y'all need to go back and change. We'll wait. Your hair, your haircuts, teaching you how to tie a tie.
Parkland was a business school. When I moved out here, we had to dress business casual.
No. Damn business casual.
Just caring about yourself.
You had to care about your appearance. It started there. Secondly, I'm gonna tell you another thing that they do. And this is something that I can see because my cousin went to the PWI I was going to go to. He went to Euler. It's a different level of community. They only kick it with the people that they kick it with when it's time to turn up. If I need something right now, I got people that I can call. If I want to go stay in Chicago, if I want to go stay in Houston, if I want to go stay in wherever, if it's somebody there that I went to college with and I had some form of a relationship with them, that's my partner. I'm going to stay at their place. If I need something, I make the call because that's what we built community there.
Yeah.
So at your school, but you said your cousin went to the school that
He
you
went
went
to
to.
It's
not the same effect.
He went to a PWI. I spent a lot of time up there. The effect is not the same.
It's there. It's just not for us. So for instance, like, because that same thing that she talks about as far as them being heavy at the high schools and stuff like that, that shit happes at a PWI. It's just not for us. For us.
Yeah.
So like even like when she said like her HBCU is in Pine Bluff, it's 72% black there. So of course, like all the high schools are black, all the neighborhoods are black. So when you go there, they're gonna most definitely reach out to the high schools because that's, you know what I mean, But and that's the same thing that happens at PWI. The difference is that
Well, okay, so this is where I have to correct you. Despite the populace being majority black, you got to look at on the outskirts of
that come
Pine
in,
Bluff.
the kids
No,
that
no,
come
no, 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 not the kids that come in. On the outskirts of Pine Bluff, it's all white. When
no,
you're talking about Camden, Redfield,
Yeah.
Whitehall, all of that shit right there, all of that is white. Some of those kids go to that school.
right.
That is strong in Pine Bluff because those people care. When I tell you there were, I would never forget one of the primary reasons that I even went was Mrs. Burrow. Mrs. Burrow was there before I ever even was a college eligible student. And we used to we go for the field day. We go for the Lions Day program because it was cool. Like Pine Bluff was turned up. Like aside from UAM and all these other schools, even for Lander, that was the HBCU. They had the culture. So when you got people like Mrs. Burrow and every child that she walk into, whether it's a grown college child or whether it's a, school age child, she walking up to, she hugging, she's welcoming, she's warm. She's telling you, if you need something, go to this office. If you need something, go here, go here, go here. My main point of saying that was there is an investment made because the people in the city care. Despite what you may hear negative, the people in the city care about the school. They have roots there and they want the children there, regardless if you're from Memphis or you from Texas or Oklahoma. They go and they put back into those students. They ain't got to know you. But if they see you, you look like you're struggling. They're going to come and help you. And that falls along into the children. Even though everybody fall into their cliques and stuff like that, you will have some people that are just friendly like that. They come on campus and they want to help you. The tutoring, all of that. They will get groups together and just say, we all struggling with this class. Let's do this on this day, this day, this day. It happens.
I would say, it also speaks to just part of what you're saying as well. I went to school and when I went to school out there, I was playing basketball out there, so you could argue that I was an athlete. But at the same time, just the culture of Hawaii, it's all about family. So me and my boys, we just go out and eat. And when we go out to eat, it'll be like Thanksgiving or something like that. We on the island, we not seeing our family, right? But people would come and say, "Hey, like, what do you need? Like, you guys need anything?" People would sponsor us. I think to some of the points that you were making, I think it also if you're not going to an HBCU as a black man, you would have to put yourself out there to say, okay, what's going on outside of my school? What's going on in my school? You have to be curious to try to figure out how can I make it? Because
it's easy to get isolated.
You can't,
right? And that's what parents
it's
are
easy
saying.
to get isolated.
At an HBCU, the engagement is you're getting pulled.
You don't have a choice.
Exactly.
You don't have a
choice.
You don't have to be curious about it. If you're stepping foot on campus, somebody's like, "Whoa, where you going? Come on here."
What do you do?
Right?
What are your
But at
interests?
PWI, you can literally get lost in the sauce.
They don't
Because
see you.
so
They
much-
don't.
It's so much opportunity
Right,
there.
right.
You
right.
can blend in.
Go.
It was so crazy
Right.
that I would be on campus and my cousin, like, they supposed to have key cards and everything to get in. They had some nice ass dorms. Like, their dorms look like apartments. And this is stuff people are paying for. You just like this whole sector. You go in and it's the main room.
It's a suite.
It's the common
that's what I
room.
had my freshman
And
year.
then
at
they
Southern.
had the ABC. They had the key to
Yep.
there, and in their room they ain't sharing no bathroom or anything. They got
Uh-huh.
all the shit they need in their
Inside.
room.
Yep.
Inside,
And that was so cool to me
Yeah.
because we didn't have that. So
Yeah.
when I was going to his school, he would be going to damn work. Like, we both worked at JCPenney.
Yeah.
And I mean, if security ain't on campus or whatever, it's like you can blend
You live
in.
in
They
a
do
suite. We
not
literally
fucking
have
know.
a suite.
Yeah.
They
Like,
don't know.
You
Like,
gotta go into the suite
one
to
of my
get access to your
cousins-
room.
One of my
Exactly.
cousins, her boyfriend, the nigga wasn't even going to school. Her boyfriend stayed with her
Mhm.
on the college.
Yeah.
But it's like, that would never happen at a
Yeah.
HBCU.
Because they know you.
They know you.
But you know what though? I would say this though, because I went to a PW. I went to 3 different ones. I went to 3 different colleges in 3
Mhm.
years. Tripped out shit. So I've seen 3 different PWI, and I will be real with you. You're known amongst black people.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's
Because the
it.
black
Sure.
people
It's small.
is
Right.
this small,
It's
so
small.
all of y'all know each other.
Right.
All of
And I think the
Every
only,
single
the only
one.
school that I didn't know anybody when I went to Ball State, that's where I graduated from. I didn't live on campus no more. Like I moved, I got with my wife at that time.
Yeah.
We had kids. We lived off campus. I had nothing to do. But those first 2 years, I recognized it was damn near like being in high school all
Yeah.
over again. All the black people knew each other, but like you said though, in the grand scheme of things, you literally could just be like you. There were so many
Another
people like you
number.
could walk. He was just another person.
Another number.
Right.
Including in class, which is not happening at an HBCU
It's
in
not.
class because your classes are a smaller sector. Even your large lecture halls
Yeah.
are not going to have more than 150.
Nah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
A
I'm saying,
PWI, you might have a lecture hall with 400.
200-300 people.
Yeah.
And-
That brings you to my point though. Say they got all them bodies, all them money, all that money going to that school.
Yeah.
If you got the mentality to bleed the school, like shit, I'm looking at the class like if I'm paying
Yeah.
$5,000 per class, it's 300 motherfuckers in this class. Oh yeah, they gonna give me some bread. I'm about to run them for whatever. So I need help. That's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go right to the counselor and say I need help.
Yeah.
But
That's
see,
what-
but
And then they give you a
I-
whole
That's
list of
what I did at
resources
Ball.
that they don't
Give me a whole list of
advertise.
shit,
That
and
they
guess
don't
what?
advertise, and then you can. You're
then
good.
That's what I
But
did.
that's why I was saying that's the difference, because you were speaking about how a lot of the times for the resources they didn't know. Oh no, at the HBCU they want you to know.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
one of the
yeah.
things that I
Yeah.
love about going to my school, this will forever be one of the things why I go the extra realm to treat people with kindness.
Mhm.
If you didn't look like the aesthetic, that was also okay.
Mhm.
You didn't have to be the coolest person. You didn't have to. You could be yourself,
Very
and
true.
that was still accepted because black is not a monolith.
Yeah.
I love that. You will have people all walks of life in the band, the nerds, the cool kids,
Yeah.
or whatever, and they felt accepted in the band.
Right.
They were there for their purpose, this, that, and the third. When they were out and they were walking around and they were in their regular dress or whatever, if they didn't dress how it was trendy to dress or whatever, nobody bothered them. They didn't
Right.
make fun of them.
Yeah.
People would get on their ass if you did call yourself trying to pick on somebody. That wasn't acceptable. We a community here.
Yeah. Very
Yeah,
true.
that shouldn't happen.
HBCU is
That
definitely
shouldn't
a
happen. It wasn't
safe,
none of that going down.
It's a
Cultivated
safe culture
You got
for
roasted.
black people.
Yeah.
it really
Oh.
is a place that you can call home, right? And you're gonna have those moments because the negative sides of HBCU,
yeah.
not having those resources that a PWI would have.
Correct.
You got to get it out the mud to get things happen. Like graduation might be a fight, right?
Yeah.
It might be like a freaking marathon, right?
Child.
I mean,
And
I
at
felt
some
like I
point,
was
you might have
pledging
to
just to
become your-
graduate, right?
at some
I
So
point-
like the door,
our graduation application out of my department had to be typed on a typewriter,
And
right?
at
So the
some
type
point,
of-
you
the
may
type-
feel like you your
Damn.
own advisor.
the type of dorm room she's
Because I
talking
had to
about.
advise my damn self. I was
Make
like,
your
what did I
schedule.
do?
Why are we doing
Make
this
your
in the
schedule.
2000s
What do I
on
need
a
to say?
typewriter? Like for real? Like, and it better not have not one mistake. And if it has one mistake, you better
do it
start that
all
mug
over
all
again.
over again because it's
She
on the
said the
carbonated
own
paper with the
advisors
yellow and
were
the pink
heavy
sheets behind
on
it.
that.
Yeah.
So it better be
Man.
right,
Yeah.
and you're gonna keep doing it. So it teaches you that grit.
I had to
it teaches
learn
you how
the
to do
hard
certain
way
things.
about handling business. And
Mhm.
I'm that person. I am not doing anything until everything is done. If I got to clear my schedule because you can't answer the phone, that means I got to go up and sit in your face for 3 hours of my
yeah.
time. I am going to do that.
Absolutely.
But I will also say that helped me to be a better
It does help
businesswoman.
you. It
Now,
does
one
help
of the
you.
things that I have learned since doing that, anytime people reach out to me about social media, first thing they say is, you promptly respond and you are so professional. It's because of the fact that I understand how that feels. Like, you
Yeah.
don't want to be hitting somebody up and you trying to contact them.
What?
They
Okay, Paris, you just took the conversation to a different area, but that's literally what I was dealing with a couple days ago.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't play that.
I feel like that's like I'm gonna grab my nuts moment because it's like you need me and I'm about to make you wait. That's not good business practice.
It's not.
And it's not professional. And black people love to be like, there's a good or a service that you're providing. Why do I have to chase you down for this good or service?
Right.
That is like this power struggle that I want to have over my client or whoever.
That is the one thing I hate
What is
about.
that about?
I hate the entrepreneur side of Black people because they do not grasp the concept of the customer is always right.
What is that
The
about?
best way to spread business is always word of mouth. I do not care because
I'll
your
go.
business has 125,000 followers on your small shop.
Mhm.
And you feel like my little $50 for this one product doesn't
doesn't
matter.
mean anything to you.
They have to stop thinking that you do not know me and you do not know who I know.
It's
And
the
I
bigger
can
picture.
make one post that can ruin your
I'll
whole
tell you this though.
entire
As a
thing.
barber, I do ignore phone calls. I'll explain why.
I'm about to get up.
But you
I'm about to
self-employed.
explain- hold on, wait.
though, so
I'm gonna
it's a little
explain
different,
why.
though.
It's not.
Oh,
It's
wait,
not,
no.
it's
Let me
not.
explain why.
It's
There's
not.
there's a rhyme or
is.
reason to why I do it. Because the only time I ever I don't ignore phone calls of inquiring. I
Oh.
ignore my customer phone calls when I know your appointment coming up and you trying to call me to tell me you're going to be late. You telling me you're going to be late ain't going to do nothing about you owing me that late fee.
Oh,
And
well, I'm not talking
what they
about
would
that.
do is they'd get up in there and be like, well, you know I called you. Yeah, I know you called me, but I'm cutting hair. And you calling me so you could tell me, oh, well, it's technically not a no call, no show because I called you, so I shouldn't have to pay you. No, you still got to pay me for that appointment. So
Well, see, that's
I don't
not.
answer
That's
phone
not
calls
a
for that
question,
reason.
though.
That's not fair.
I
That's
do
not
have
no
Well,
call, no
'cause-
show.
Because a no call, no show is I don't have a no call, no show policy.
Yeah.
My policy is if you don't come within a certain time, you
The
owe me
next
the money
person
for that
up.
Oh,
appointment.
okay.
It ain't, oh, if you call me 5 minutes before your appointment, tell me you're going to be 20 minutes late, that all of a sudden that makes everything null and void. But a lot of people still think that if I call you, that means I'm not responsible for it. Besides, I'm busy anyway because I'm dealing with the person who's sitting right in front of you, and you calling me to tell me you gonna be you running late.
Yeah.
I have a question though.
I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Like going to HBCU, right? I've never been on to HBCU campus or anything like that, but when you are surrounded by so much, Black people, right?
Yeah.
And you go into the workforce where there's not a lot of Black people at all.
Yeah.
Do you find it? Because I definitely dealt with a lot of imposter syndrome, especially growing up, around some of the friends I have or athletes that I have. A lot of people are able to do the work that I do.
Mm-hmm.
But did you find it difficult to do that transition where now you're not around,
No.
a lot of, okay.
And I can always speak for me.
You go and then I'll go.
I come from the country.
Yeah.
There were times where when I played softball, I was the only Black girl on the team. It wasn't nobody but me and my daddy.
Yeah.
I have a
And-
lot of only Black girl moments.
Yeah, I got several
A lot.
only Black girl moments. Or when
Yeah.
I went to Arkansas School of Mathematics, Sciences, in the Arts, it was only 10 Black kids in the entire school.
Yeah.
When I first went to my first grade school at home, my school was primarily white before they migrated with
Yeah.
a whole nother
Yeah,
school. And then
4 years out of your life isn't gonna change.
No,
like,
but
No.
He makes it a point for people who didn't have our experience.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, because-
But you saying 4 years of your life isn't going to change. It will
It does.
absolutely shape
does.
shift, because I'm gonna tell you what I did struggle with. In Pine Bluff, I got coddled. I got coddled in a way of assuming everybody who was Black had my motherfucking
Get
back.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
don't know
okay.
that. And when I came out here to Texas, when I tell you I learned the hard way in Texas,
And that's what,
Cutthroat.
that's what me and my husband have so
I
different
hate it
opinions.
out
We both
here.
graduated from Southern.
I hate how Black culture is out here because it's very much so business minded. Me and my cousin,
Very.
my cousin is she's been a respiratory therapist for over 24 years, and she moved here from Illinois, but she came from Arkansas as well.
Uh-huh.
We come from home, and one of the things we were talking about is how here companies and the individuals at the companies don't give a damn if you choose to be there or not. There is no real family culture here. People do not care about staying in jobs long term. People do not care about helping you get to the next
I
step.
think that's
Like
the
we were
culture.
talking
That's the
about-
culture and all, though. I agree with you. I think it's the total culture.
It's
Of
not
us,
though, but that's
of
what
us.
we're trying to
No,
say.
I'm saying culture in general, not just Black, white. Just
No,
culture.
yeah,
You
that's-
mean of the
that's-
generation,
but-
the times?
Yeah, the generation of time.
But basically, like, even with what she was saying, we were talking about earlier, like when you talk about how the women don't, like, you was talking about Black women don't want to help you get to the next level and elevate. That's just not a Black woman thing out here. That's like A motherfucker will stifle your success out here just out the contingency of they feel like you're not gonna stay, or they
True.
feel like you're a better worker
It's
than
like
them.
that in LA too.
I
though.
don't care for the culture out here. And I would say that for me, I didn't have an issue with the adaptation because I grew up around white people.
Mhm.
I have seen
Yeah.
white culture. That bothers me none. I know how to mingle well. Again, I
Yeah.
have a lot of I was the only black girl story. But I
Yeah.
can say I got coddled and I had to learn the hard way of everybody who black ain't got your back. Like I had to learn that the hard way, and it was a very nasty lesson. Like I almost lost my livelihood as far as my job because I had to learn that lesson.
Yeah, I think the reason why I asked that question is because for me, growing up, especially being, tall, 6'5", big,
Mhm.
like a lot of people always look at me, especially white
As a
people,
threat.
as a threat, or just like I'm just the athlete, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so like, when I go into these environments or in the line of work that I do, there's predominantly, whether it be just not black people, Asians, blacks, Asians,
Mhm.
whites, whoever. And so a lot of the times when I'm looking and I'm having these conversations or conversations in general with these people, like it's kind of a disconnect because I'm the people I know. I'm trying to have a conversation with somebody, but understanding like, damn, like my cousin just got killed in a damn drive-by the other day. And I gotta have a conversation, not just with a like we can have that conversation, but if I'm having that conversation with a white person, black person, or I'm sorry, Asian person, whoever in my line of work, sometimes in my career, it's kind of a it messes up my mindset sometimes, and that's kind of what I struggle with. Sometimes imposter syndrome is that like I'm trying to disconnect from my environment, from where I come from, but yet be present right in the
I
environment
suffer
I'm
with
at.
that too, but it's more so of the disconnecting from my reality, and I started to trick my mind. So in a lot of ways, I'm a workaholic, and
Yeah,
work becomes a distraction for me because I will do the thing where I don't know if anybody have ever heard this about leave the rock at the door.
you said leave the rock.
Leave the rock at the door. Have you ever heard of that analogy before? So there's a guy who he wakes up every day and he has this rock with him,
Mhm.
and he takes it with him wherever he goes. But when he goes to work, he leaves the rock at the door,
Mhm.
and when he comes out, he picks it up.
Oh,
So
I
that's
understand what that
that's
is.
Yeah.
that's how I treat my job. I can say that since my dad passed, it's become a lot more difficult
Yeah,
because in my job I have to do a lot of empathizing. I have to do a lot of coddling. I
Yeah.
have to do a lot of other things. I have to listen to other people's problems, and they are very much so entitled, and it it does become difficult.
Ladies love skin.
Ow.
Bring it. The good skin. That's why having a proper skincare routine is very important, and you need to feel the teach. The process is so easy, just 4 steps. You got your daily face wash. That's gonna clean your face up nice and right. You got your exfoliator scrub. That's gonna open up your pores. You got your AM moisturizer with the SPM 20, which is gonna protect you from the sun. You also got your PM moisturizer, which is gonna make sure your skin is protected throughout the night. Teej has tons of reviews from dedicated customers across the world. I know I said a lot, but it's okay. Because guess what? It comes with an instruction card to explain to you in detail what to do morning and night. And because Teej is a sponsor, they're offering my family 30% off along with a free gift. Just click that link that's in the description and feel the Teej.